3, 2, 1. Tony motherfucking Hinchcliffe.
Yeah.
Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you.
Every time comics come here that I usually spend multiple nights a week with, like, so nice to be semi-normal again.
Yes. For fucking sure.
The restrictions are supposed to be lifting up here in Los Angeles on Friday, which means nothing for us, for comedians. It means something for like some retail, some other stuff, but they're doing it nice and slow. And did you see the list of shit that the governor's office put out of stuff you're allowed to do?
Mm-mm.
You should pull that up, Jamie, because it's quite hilarious. First of all, it's kind of condescending. It's like treating you like you're a moron. Like, here's things you're allowed to do. One of them that I thought that was hilarious, it said soft martial arts. Yeah, it said Tai Chi. This is you're allowed to do this outside.
Oh, no.
Soft martial arts.
No.
Like, why can't you shadow box? Can you do that?
Yeah.
Or it's only okay if you do things that don't work? Like, you're saying martial art. Or that's an art of war, right? And Tai Chi is... It's much more of a meditation than it is an art of war. I think it's very beneficial. But like, look what it says. Athletics, number 1. What does that mean? Badminton, singles, throwing a ball, a baseball, softball, stop. Here's the problem with that.
Yeah.
If you're throwing a baseball, you're basically shaking hands.
Yep.
And you're doing it with an organic skin, right? Baseball, the outside of it is cow skin.
You could throw a ball by yourself, but
that's not what they're saying,
I know, yeah.
right?
That's just sad.
Are you going to throw it and go...
I'm just saying.
Throw it and go pick it up.
Throwing fly balls to yourself in the park.
BMX biking. Okay, thank you. You're allowed to canoe. Singles.
Oh.
Like it specifies.
What's
singles?
Are they talking about crabbing like crab walk?
No, like catching crabs. You can go crabbing like fishing. No, that's what it means.
Oh.
Yeah, you can go crabbing.
People do it all the time.
Oh, yeah, in California.
Okay.
Not here, but
Right.
in Northern California, it's a big deal. Yeah, I've done it before. You catch blue crabs, I think they are. I think they're blue. I don't know what species they are. But you catch them off the piers. There's a lot of areas around San Francisco where people catch crabs. It's really big in like Maryland and, those guys love crabbing. Oh, in Alaska, too. They do a lot of
I
crabbing.
know it's a thing. It was just a California list. That's why I was like, I didn't.
They must have them. I mean, the ocean's right here. Gardening, not in groups. Oh, you can explore rock pools. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Where can we do that at?
Malibu, but you can't get to the beach. It's closed. Cycling, golf, singles, walking, no cart, Tony.
Oh, my gosh.
You can't have a cart. Why can't I have a cart? What if it's my cart? I can't take the cart? It's electric. It doesn't even hurt the environment. Like, why can't I take the cart?
Yeah, or why can't they clean it? Wipe it down.
Is there a logic to that? Let's stop. I mean, if it's your cart, is there a logic to that? And how is it any different than the cart at the supermarket? Like, that motherfucker's getting passed around like a cheap hoe.
I think it's because they have to have people clean it and whatnot, and they don't want to have staff on whatever. Because they've opened up.
Right, but they have it at the supermarket.
No, I know, but well.
You know what I'm saying?
I know your point. Yeah,
it's like it's real squirrely. It's like the places where you absolutely have to go, they're allowed to stay open.
Yeah, and even the shopping cart. I was shopping the other day, and I opened up the kitty part, to put other stuff in, and I'm like, there's no way they wiped that part well. There's just no way. If it was on here, I got it.
After a while, I'm sure the people that work in those places, the kids, especially like 18-year-olds, they're going to slack off.
Oh, yeah.
Like, no one's dead. They don't see it. They're not going to the hospital. Hold on. Don't scroll down yet. There's a lot more we missed. Go back up. So, yeah. So we were at no cart, golf, hiking, trails, paths allowing distancing. How is it okay when you're running? Because if you're running past people that are walking, there's going to come a time where you're right there. Is that all right? I don't know.
This is all very bizarre.
Well, it really is like we're dealing with multiple different diseases, too.
Are the trails open? I thought they were still closed. Are they opening those up?
I think they opened them up again. We'll find that out next. Oh, you can kiteboard. Okay. Oh, meditation's allowed.
Oh, we're allowed to
meditate. What the fuck, man? Outdoor photography. Oh, I didn't know. I thought that if I was hiking, I couldn't take pictures of what I was hiking with. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to do outdoor photography. Picnics with your stay-at-home household members only. Can't meet up with other people that aren't sick. What? quad biking, rock climbing, roller skating, rollerblading. It's weird. It's because like we're asking people to be extra super responsible with this, right? But we don't ask the same thing about car accidents. Look at stop. Go back. Soft martial arts. Look at that. Tai Chi, Qi Kung.
What's Qi Kung?
Well, I know what Qi Gong is. It's like a type of like a breathing exercise. I'm pretty sure. And you know what Tai Chi is. It's almost like a series of rhythmic movements. But why are you calling that a soft martial art? It's such a weird definition, and not in groups. It's just like so specific. Like if a person wants to go outside and they have a shadow boxing routine they do and they like to practice Muay Thai, why can't they go practice Muay Thai? They can't just go outside. Like imagine like you're pent up in your apartment and you can go on the beach and just like spark up a little and just throw some combinations under the sun and the sand. You can't do that? Is that threatening to people? Why? But you're allowed to do all this jazz? That's not even a martial art. Let's just be honest. It's great.
Right.
People that do it, they find it very therapeutic and it's good for the body. You know, you're doing these slow poses, so it gives you, you're exercising control over your body. But it's not really a martial art. It's weird. It's like you wouldn't fight with it. So what is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to fight with Tai Chi.
I've never heard the terminology before. Is there such thing as soft and hard martial arts?
Yeah, I guess you could. You could kind of define it like that. Some people would say that Tai Chi is a soft martial art. They would. I guess they would kind of say it, but it just doesn't make sense to me. It's not a martial art. A martial art is something that you would use in a fight. If you were trying to have a thing with. There's rules to martial arts, though, so you could say, like, well, how come boxing is just boxing? How come they're not allowed to kick you or take you down? Like, is that a full martial art? Like, what is a martial art? Martial art is like doing the best shit to do when you're in war with a person, hand-to-hand combat. But for so long, we didn't know what the best shit was. So they branched off into all these different groups. So like there's the people that only concentrated on judo, and they were convinced it is the best thing you could do. I remember I was really foolish when I was doing Taekwondo, and I worked out with my friend Walter. He used to teach at this university, and he was a bad motherfucker, and I used to go down and train with him. And there was this guy, this judo guy who was there, and they were practicing judo, and this guy was a gorilla. He probably could have broke me in half and stuffed me up his ass. I mean, really was a big guy. But I thought, God, that's so useless. This is what I thought.
Right.
I was like, why would you want to do that when you could learn how to punch and kick? Why would you want to learn how to do that?
Did you do any
so
wrestling?
Silly. Yes, 1 year in high school. Okay. Yeah. But man, until I started doing jiu-jitsu, like I didn't realize how vulnerable I really was.
Yeah.
Like I hadn't done real martial arts in a long time because I had a knee surgery, and it took me a long time to recover, like more than a year. I fucked my knee up, and I didn't get it fixed for like 6 months, and then I got it fixed. It took like a year to rehab. So for like a year and a half plus, wasn't doing any martial arts. And then I started doing a little bit of kickboxing when I came to LA. I went to this legendary place in Van Nuys. It's one of the things that I wanted to go to. Other than going to the Comedy Store, I wanted to go to Benny the Jet's Jet Center.
Wow.
The Jet Center in Van Nuys. Benny Urquidez is like a legendary kickboxer from LA. And him and I believe Blinky Rodriguez is his brother-in-law, but he was another beast. He's a guy who knocked out one of the greatest kickboxers of all time, Jean-Yves Theriot. He knocked him out with a left hook. I mean, so this was a gym, a legendary gym. And I came here, and right when I came here, I started going there, and they had earthquake damage. So when it rained, their place got fucked up, like really fucked up, and they had to close down. And then he moved to a place in North Hollywood for a while. But it just it wasn't the same once that legendary gym was gone. But those were one of the number one places that I wanted to come to when I came to LA.
Yeah. Has anyone ever claimed Tai Chi or Qi Kung as any of their UFC skill set?
Yeah, they make stuff up for fun. Look, the greatest fighter of all time, John Jones. What's his style? It says look, see, do. That's his style. Literally, go look up when John Jones fights. Under his style, he writes look, see, do. Wow. You want to talk about a dude thinking for himself?
Yeah.
This guy's like, listen, fuck, I know what I knew. I know what I know. I know what I can do. I'm just going to call it look, see, do. I look at people see things. I look at people do something. I see it, and I do it. one of the first fights ever in the UFC. The guy tries to throw this wild spinning elbow just out of nowhere. Fights Shogun for the title. Opens up with a flying knee. Just wild.
Unbelievable.
Opens up on a legend. Shogun was a legend. UFC light heavyweight champion. The guy who's knocked out Chuck Liddell but was fucking killing people in Pride. I mean, when we were coming up, Mauricio Shogun Hua was a legend. John Jones fights him, wins the title, the youngest guy ever to win a title in the UFC with a flying knee. That's what he opens up with.
He's unbelievable.
Just wild, man. Just wild. But anyway, my point was I didn't realize how vulnerable I was until I first started doing jiu-jitsu. Or wrestling, it would have been the same with wrestling. Like anybody who's like a real grappler, like you can get really delusional about how much you can keep a person off you.
Yeah.
Without anyone who's a real grappler, like a real Division I wrestler, dude.
What's frightening is how, and then once you realize how hard it is, but then you see the people who make it look so damn easy.
Yeah.
There were these wrestlers, I think they were called the Hurley twins or something from another school. And these guys were really, really high level, and we were in high school, but they were high level freestyle wrestlers. Like they would go to the nationals every year, and they would like, it appeared as if though they would dangle guys by an angle and just keep getting points. And they would release and they would make it look like it was nothing. The other guy's wrestling for his life, and they would just seamlessly grab their ankle and push them back, and the person
There's an underappreciated skill level for like the real elite of the elite. You know, it really is underappreciated. Like if you watch Jordan Burroughs wrestle,
Yeah.
You know, who's currently right now today widely considered to be the best wrestler in the world, or one of them. I mean, there's a bunch of like really insanely good wrestlers out there in the
I have
world.
a bunch of pairs of his shoes.
He's the elite of the elite.
Yeah.
When you watch him, how good he is and how well he moves through these takedowns and transitions and chains takedown attacks together, and the power and the drive and just the fucking explosiveness, all of it together. The insane desire to compete and win. You know, you don't even know what that's like. That guy manhandled Ben Askren, who manhandles most people.
Yep.
I
And
mean,
they all know what he's going to do.
levels.
They all know what to
Yeah.
defend, that he's going to shoot low on a double leg takedown, and
Yeah.
there's nothing they can do.
So good. I mean, Askren was quite a bit past his wrestling prime. I don't think you can be elite at both. I think, you know, most of these elite wrestlers who are really, really good wrestlers, once they get into the UFC and they realize how much striking they have to do, how much submission they have to do, I think most of them would admit that they're probably not getting the same kind of focus on pure wrestling that allows them to stay at their highest level. So they might dip a little bit in their wrestling ability to pick up some skill and striking. It's a fine dance they do, man.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's such a fine dance. And to put it all together, that's why Look-See-Do is like such a great name for a style.
Yeah.
Because he's not doing one thing. I mean, yes, very good wrestler. Yes, very good striker. Yes, very good submission artist. Excellent at all those things. But he just throws them all together with whatever's there. What's open? What's open? How about I never try to take you to the ground? I just kick the fuck out of your legs. I just get close to you, beat you up in knees and elbows. It's such a... So when you say, like when someone says martial art, like it's not a martial art. It's a style of fighting. It's like a game you're playing. You know, if you're playing boxing, you're playing boxing. It is definitely a fight, but it is a martial art, but it's not a complete one. Like now that we know, like all those little schools, like the judo people and the taekwondo people, that were all like real biased about their own style. Like I definitely was. Now you know, this is one style. It's mixed martial arts. It's that look-see-do thing that John Jones does. He does everything. He's kicking you. He's punching you. He's trying to take you down. He's smashing you on the ground. He strangles you if he can. Like, however I can beat you. That's what they're trying to do, which is real martial arts. That's a real martial art. Like, as close as you can get without eye gouging and going for the nuts, because we all agree that's just too much.
Yeah.
even like if they're teaching you self-defense, that's the only time they step up with the eye gouging and the nut shots. But those are like the most effective moves. Eye gouging and nut shots are the most effective moves. We just collectively decide that they're too destructive.
Yeah. It's weird seeing actual street fight videos. I saw one where the guy, actual fight video where the guy does grab the other guy's nuts. It's like they're like in the army or something too.
Oh, Jesus.
He's begging, please. Like it's actually really funny.
Oh, my God.
Please, God, no, please.
Oh, my God. Because
Like,
someone can
stops.
crush your nuts and
Right.
take away your manhood.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I've heard of dudes getting their nuts exploded from a kick. One guy who was sparring, just like I think they said it was like his last round of sparring. He said, I don't need a cup, just go light. Boom, takes a shot to the nuts, and one of his balls explodes.
Oh no.
No, they had to remove it.
Oh.
Yeah, dude, you just imagine the force of someone hitting you with a kick. Like imagine the force of someone who's like Tyron Woodley, who's an excellent leg kicker. He's got vicious power in his leg kicks. The force of that hitting your nuts. Your nuts are not designed. You need a cup, man.
Yeah.
Your nuts are not designed to survive that with no help. That's crazy.
That's why they gave us 2, just in case.
Just in case.
Because there's no kick that could blast through 2 at once.
There's a lot of kicks that'll blast through 2 nuts.
Wow.
Yeah, 100%. Pedro Hizzo, if he kicked your nuts, you would have no nuts. They would be all smashed up like gravy. It got kicked so hard.
I was looking at hard and soft martial arts. Judo, like that's judo. The Jew of judo and jiu-jitsu is soft. So it's like not
That's silly.
blocking with a block, like blocking an attack with a block.
Oh, I
with
see.
force.
Like a redirection.
Intercepting it, yeah. Like,
Well, then you can't. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at the word soft incorrectly.
Soft martial arts just has a picture of CM Punk next to it.
Oh, you son of a bitch! You would never call judo a soft martial art, though. I mean, maybe it's technically that, but I mean, in amongst the circles that I travel in, when you're talking to, and I'm not a judo expert, obviously, but I'm not. I know a lot of people that are. I've talked to a lot of judo experts. I bet they wouldn't think it's soft martial art.
yeah, I wouldn't agree with that.
Judo guys are brutal.
Same.
Yeah.
They're brutal. They're some of the most. Look, if you watch like world class judo, like there's some great footage of Hector Lombard. Hector Lombard, when he was doing judo, was a motherfucker. I mean, it's just smashing people. He's so fucking strong. When you watch like really good judo with really good technique, there's nothing soft about that, man. That is wild shit, man.
Basically, the art of throwing people.
It's an art of throwing people on your fucking head and grabbing you by your clothes.
Yeah.
And you're both grabbing each other by your clothes. And when you get to a super elite level, when you watch those Olympians go at it, man, it's wild. It's so hard. It's so fucking hard. I mean, it's super brilliant and technical, and it's very strategic, and there's all these transitions, and it's very technical in terms of like being able to execute a high-level throw on someone who's also an expert in high-level throws. It's amazing, but it's also very hard. Like, they're strong as shit. It's not, like I've only rolled with a few like really good judo guys ever, and it's like rolling with a chimpanzee. Mm-hmm. They're too strong.
Yeah.
Like wrestlers, judo guys, you guys are too fucking strong.
Sound plan on this.
Oh, we were still going over this list. That's how good this marijuana is. I forgot what we were talking about. Oh, you can go tree climbing. Go climb a tree, you fuck.
Watch this.
I did. I did the other day. I climbed a tree.
Hey,
I
Tony,
got excited.
Good news. You can wash your car. The government thinks it's okay for you to wash your car.
Wow. Oh, you can walk the dog.
Yay! I didn't know I could walk the dog. I just been letting him shit in my mouth for 2 months. You can watch the sunrise or the sunset.
Wow, both of them?
Yeah.
We're so lucky.
You can do yoga.
My goodness.
How
What
about
a
just let us be responsible?
silly
Don't-
list.
Just, that list is silly. Just first of all, that's a first draft. Edit. Take out sunrise and sunset. That's a big duh. Take out all the does. You like writing lists. Anybody who writes a list like that?
Yeah.
How come?
Sweden's looking at that list and laughing all the way to the
Ask-
bank, literally.
Answer me this: how come you can play badminton? Like when you play in badminton, sometimes you like right up on each other,
Yeah.
aren't you? It's
Yeah.
not that far away.
You can get close, I think. Right?
No, you
Is there
don't. Right? You'd be
spiking?
at a distance. Do you spike it?
It did say volleyball was on the list, and they're spiking a volleyball.
Oh well, volleyball it has to be singles. It has to be one. I think they said singles.
I don't know how you can play a singles volleyball.
Here's
It's fucking-
the thing: you're still touching this ball, so it's just like touching someone's hands. It's the same thing. If you have this and it's on the ball, it's going to get on the ball. When the person catches the ball, it's going to get on their hands. They're going to touch their eyes, and they're going to throw the ball again. And you're going to do this for hours. You're going to get each other's cooties. You might
Yep.
as well just make out.
For sure.
You might as well just
Plus
make
their
out.
sweat.
Yeah, they sweat. You're breathing hard. You definitely get close to each other when you get real close to if you're like, I've seen dudes kiss. They jumped up and as they were
That's one of the main moves in volleyball.
they give each other a kiss
Yeah.
and they try to swat that ball down. I mean, they might as well be kissing.
That's how you start the game in West Hollywood.
That would be a great way to fuck with your opponent.
Yeah.
As he's reaching up to get that ball, you give him a smoocher right on the lips. And like in a movie, you guys peek up together. And imagine if that's all it took to turn you gay. If there was a move.
Top Gun? Wasn't there like a scene in Top Gun where they're fucking playing volleyball?
But imagine if like a guy could make you gay. If there was a thing, like how weird is it that you can get knocked out?
Yeah.
Getting knocked out is crazy. The idea that you just get smacked on the face and you go unconscious and everything just shuts off.
That would be hilarious.
Imagine if there was like a button that you had. Like if someone touched a button, like right on your taint. It's like a reset button on a electrical outlet. And the circuit blows. He's going to push it back in. Pop.
Oh my God.
But that volleyball scene, isn't there a thing where Quentin Tarantino breaks down how gay this movie is?
That's what I thought of it, I think. Speaking of Tom
Like
Cruise.
a video of it,
did you
right?
see he's going to make a movie in space.
Of course he's going to make a movie in space. He's Tom fucking Cruise. Yeah, this is, if I was into gay men, this would be awesome. Right? If you're a gay guy and you're like, damn, look at these guys. This is a movie for you. If you look at it that way.
Whoever wore jeans on the beach to play volleyball, too.
Well, also, they slide into the sand, and then miraculously, right after they slide into the sand, they are clean and shiny with glistening sweat and no sand on them.
He just did the sand. He just dove.
But watch, they hit the sand all the time, but there's no sand on them. Instead, they're perfectly glistening.
It's magic sand.
This is a weird.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever really watched Top Gun the whole way through.
Hold on, back that up. Why does Tom Cruise walk like that? Back that up. Back that up. Watch this walk. Here we go. That's very odd. That's an odd walk. Maybe he hurt himself out there.
Volleyball injury.
Bro, he does all his own stunts too. Like motorcycle stunts. Like he's probably hurt all the time.
He jumped out of I watched the video. They have video of him being videoed while jumping out of that plane in Mission Impossible.
Yeah. What is
Nuts.
that? What is that?
Nuts.
That video of him hanging on the plane. What is he doing there? Is he attached by a latch or something? Have you seen that shit? Like, there's a video of him, and supposedly it's actual video of him hanging from the side of the plane. He doesn't get enough credit for this. He's a goddamn maniac. Look, he's giving them the thumbs up, and so this fucking plane takes off, dude, and he's actually hanging off the edge of this. Look at this. Watch. He lets his legs go and everything. This is nuts, man. Look at this.
It's the raw footage from the camera.
This is insane. So he's really letting this plane take him in the air, and he's hanging on from the power of L. Ron Hubbard. Look at this.
No, there it is. You can see it.
What are you seeing?
There's a thing right there. You see that rope?
But
The
that's
rope.
That's all
look.
that's hanging.
Oh, yeah.
No,
the rope
look.
is connecting him.
Yep.
Yeah. But still, that's
oh yeah,
him.
that's nuts. That's crazy.
I'm not saying this is the only thing keeping him up there. I'm saying, what the fuck, man?
That's
What
crazy.
the fuck, man? He's strapped to the side of a plane, and he's Tom Cruise. He's like a huge movie star. I'm like, what kind of insurance policy was involved in this scene?
When he broke his ankle, they stopped for like 6 weeks, I think.
Bro, if I was the director, I'd say, look, we're going to shoot this scene last. I would write in fake endings to the movie where Tom Cruise's character dies and then his sister comes in. I would have Scarlett Johansson on standby, ready to come avenge Tom Cruise, because we see him fly off the back of that plane. And that would be a real controversy thing. Like, should we actually show him falling off the plane to his death? And they'd be like, look, Tom would want us to.
Yeah.
And so they leave it in there. And we all get to watch like a Tom Cruise snuff film.
I'd love that. We would love that. People love that.
The thing is, people would. I would watch it. I don't want it to happen, but I would if I knew there was a video of Tom Cruise dying because he fell off the side of a plane. How do you not watch that? Right?
Yeah.
How do you not watch that?
I mean, look at when Heath Ledger died, basically from playing the Joker. That whole time he's on the pills and everything. He can't sleep. Everybody went and watched that.
Is that why he died? You think like he got addicted to pills because of the Joker?
Well, no, he just wasn't sleeping. He wasn't taking care of himself through the entire filming of that movie.
Oh.
They didn't even finish it, right? I don't think so. I think he died right at the end of filming.
Oh.
Not positive on that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I feel like he died during the process, right?
Yeah.
That was a bummer, man. That guy can act his ass off. You got to assume, though, I always do, when someone's that good at something, they're probably just really chaotic.
Yeah.
You know, mentally chaotic. And some of those people just need to calm that fucking demon down.
Yeah.
He was filming a different movie. They had just finished that, The Dark Knight. The
Oh,
Imaginary.
okay. So he was done and he was on to the next thing. Like John Belushi, right? Here's another one. Like, you see that guy. Like he was so ferocious in some of his characters. You know, he was so wild. Like there must have been demons, just demons.
I'll name another one right now. Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh, he's
my
brilliant.
God! I
Brilliant.
just watched one I hadn't seen with him. Nuts, man. Done
That
by
was
the.
so good.
He did one with the guy that made There Will Be Blood. That director. I can't remember the name of it.
He's in those Hunger Games, right?
Yeah, but I'm not.
Dude, he's good in those.
Yeah.
I know those movies are silly.
Philip Seymour Hoffman's a freak.
He was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's got an impressive list. If you look at the movies that he's done, you go over it and you go, oh, wow, I forgot about that one. I forgot about that one.
Yeah. And he makes even the ones that look like they'd be lame. I went down, this is when the quarantine started. This is one of the big rabbit holes I went down, was a Philip Seymour Hoffman one. And even the movies that look like they wouldn't be great are great. There's a few actors that really, I think, read the scripts that they're offered and have a real take on them. And they make everything good. That Ben Mendelsohn guy, I don't know if you've ever saw Bloodline, but he's another one of those.
Is he that guy that was in 30 Days of Nights? There's a guy who's in 30 Days of Nights, which is a really fun vampire movie while you're quarantined. Good fuck. Have you seen it?
No.
No, he's the guy from The Outsider.
Oh,
The cop.
okay. The cop from The Outsider. Show me. Oh, that guy's amazing.
You can look up anything he's done. It's unbelievable.
He's Australian, too.
Yeah, he was in Ready Player One. He was the bad guy. Remember? He was great in that.
He's an unbelievable bad guy.
He's so good as the cop in The Outsider.
Mm-hmm.
The Outsider is really fun. I really enjoyed that. I hope they make a part 2 of that. That was creepy as fuck. And that woman who played the savant, she played the sort of autistic savant. Mm-hmm. That lady was amazing. She was so good. Like that whole cast. The guy who is her boyfriend in that, who was also from House of Cards.
Yeah.
That guy's amazing.
Yeah.
So that was a great little fun supernatural series.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Incredible.
That lady who played the autistic one, like, I wonder what she's like in real life because she's so good.
Completely different. I actually found this out because I was.
What is her name?
I forget.
Let's find out.
She played
the
Rosa
cat.
Parks and sung at the Oscars too.
She's amazing. She played it perfect. Like, that's a weird read to play a super genius who's on the spectrum. Mm-hmm. You know, that's a weird read, but but also relatable and really likable. She just figured out the perfect frequency. You know how some people can play a psycho and you're like, God damn, that seems psycho. Like the old lady on Ozark, the old lady who grows the heroin.
Oh my God.
Holy shit, is she good. Holy shit, is that lady good. Who is that lady?
Unbelievable.
She's amazing. She scares the fuck out of me. She scares the fuck out of me.
Cynthia Erivo, I believe is how you say that.
So Cynthia Erivo is the woman who plays the autistic lady on The Outsider. Who is the lady now that plays the heroin lady in Ozark? That lady is scary, man. She's fucking terrifying. She's for sure the most terrifying person in a show filled with terrifying people. She scares me more than the Navarro guy does.
Yep. Oh, she's completely
She's so
crazy.
scary, dude.
She killed her own husband.
I know, but she's so believable. That lady who's the actress is fucking brilliant. What is her name?
I don't know.
Just go to cast.
That scene with when she started banging the kid reminded me of remember the scene in Kingpin where he has to have sex with the neighbor?
She plays Darlene. That's her name, right? Isn't it Darlene?
Yeah. right?
Yes, that's the lady. Lisa Emery.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Dude, she's
Yeah.
incredible. She's so scary.
Yeah.
She's so scary on that show. And the other woman, the lawyer woman, she scares the fuck out of me too. Helen. God damn it. Who's that lady? That lady's amazing as well.
Janet McTeer.
She's terrifying. Like they steal the show. That's one of the interesting things about Ozark is you want to talk about a show that's like an equal opportunity show. It's a terrifying show, and the two scariest characters are women.
Yeah. Mind-boggling.
It's a great show. It's
One of
so
my favorites.
good. Dude,
And it's
so
funny
good.
because, it's written and directed by Jason Bateman. And when I first visited California the first time, I just graduated high school and I was out here visiting my brother. And we got lost. We were in this SUV and we got lost going around the Hollywood Hills. And at one point, my brother stops to ask for directions. Somehow we got lost. Like, it's like looking back on it, it's like you just go down the hill, right? But we didn't know what side we were on. Anyway, he stops to ask this guy that's walking on the side of the street who's clearly on the cell phone which way to get back down. He's like, "Excuse me, sir. Excuse me." And this guy turns around and it was Jason Bateman. And
Whoa.
Jason Bateman's on his phone and he looks back at my brother and he goes like, he's looking at my brother like, "Can't you see?" Like, he didn't say a word, but he looks at his phone like, "Can't you see I'm on the phone? Like, what are you, an idiot?" And but he didn't say anything. He just looked at his phone and looked at us like that and kept walking, went back on his phone call. So after that, I'm like, you know what? Screw that Jason Bateman guy. Like, I didn't really find that one sitcom he was on never really connected with me or whatever. And so I always thought I was anti-Jason Bateman. And then here we are so much later, almost 20 years later. And I realized that day that we were the assholes stopping. Of course we saw that he was on the phone. In retrospect, if anybody did that to me or anyone I know, we would do the same. "Can't you see I'm on the phone?"
It looks like Sebastian.
Exactly.
Oh, you got to pull up this video from Sebastian's Instagram. He's walking, and these people are walking up the hill behind him with water bottles on their heads. It is the most Sebastian thing you'll ever see in your life. It's brilliant. This is like if someone wanted to say like, "Hey, that's Sebastian. He's really funny, right? What's his comedy like?" Like, watch this video. It is what? Look at it. Give me some volume. Give me some volume.
Bottles on your head.
Look at this.
Bother me.
Look at this.
Oh, are you walking with bottles on your head? You bother me.
See, that is so simple. He's laughing while he's saying it. It's 100% his personality. You bother me.
Oh, God.
He kills me harder than almost anybody in the world.
He's very funny in a very unique way. He's very funny in his own way. Like he's like Theo in a lot of ways. Like if someone said like, "How do you describe Theo's comedy?" I'm like, he's Theo Vaughn. Yeah. He knows how to be Theo Vaughn, and it's amazing. And Sebastian is real similar in that way.
Yeah.
He knows how to be Sebastian.
Yeah.
He's got that. He just is himself, and it works. You couldn't write it down on paper. That's one of the weirder things about comedy.
Yeah.
Like some of those people that are like that, like Harlan Williams. Tell me what that is. Explain that to me.
Yeah.
You can't explain it. You just got to see it, and then you'll be laughing. "Hey there, butternuts, flapjacks, peachy pie." And you're like, "What the fuck?" Like
I get
Harlan
nervous
Williams.
around Sebastian. He's one of the only people. I'm more comfortable around Chappelle than I am around Sebastian. Like, it's literally, there's just something about his entire aura. Like, I'm always afraid I'm going to say something or do something stupid or trip.
What?
Yeah.
You worried about that comedic observation? What?
Yeah.
What the?
He's so fucking funny to me. I think I was
Such a nice guy too. Like just such a sweetheart of a guy. Always has been. Always been a nice guy. Always hustled.
That Italian, like those Italian stories and delivery hit me. It's like I almost feel like I'm related to him, and he's just this funny guy.
Did I tell you what happened with his cousin? Dude. So somebody tells me, "Hey, I heard Sebastian's house got robbed," and I'm like, "What?" So I text him, And he said, no, it's actually my cousin. He has the exact same name as me. And two guys broke into his house, and he fought one of them on a security camera and then went inside and shot the other one. Killed the guy.
Whoa.
Yeah, the guy pulled a gun on him in his fucking house. And so he, the guy who he beat up gets charged for murder.
Wow.
Because when you commit a crime and it causes someone to die, you get charged for the actual death. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Cousin of comic Sebastian Maniscalco, and there's video of these guys breaking into his door. It's really crazy. Like you can see the video of he comes storming out with the guy and he's fighting with this home invader guy. And meanwhile, there's another guy inside his house with his family. So here he is. He's fighting with this guy. He's got no shoes on, right? So that looks like he has no shoes on, right?
Right.
He's just beating the fuck out of this guy. And apparently he practices martial arts. He's a big look-see-do practitioner.
Yeah. It's not the
So
Tai Chi.
then he goes inside. He beats the fuck out of that guy. That guy runs off. He goes inside, and then he kills a guy. I believe he took the guy's gun from him and shot him. I think that's what happened. I'm not sure, though. So I believe somebody told me that. How did the guy die? See if we could find it.
Did they think that it was Sebastian Maniscalco?
Well, somebody did. That's why they contacted me and they said, hey, Sebastian's house got broken into. I was like, what? So I called him. I texted him. The whole thing's really crazy, though. Okay. They followed the wife and the two children up to the second floor bedroom with his gun drawn. Prosecutor said the bad guy, Brodax, broke through the bedroom door, pushed the children onto the bed, and pointed the gun at Maniscalco's wife as she begged him not to shoot, prosecutor said. After Maniscalco chased off the first guy, Fanan, he retrieved his own gun and fatally shot Brodax in the abdomen. Wow. Jesus Christ. So the guy had a gun pointed at his family. And he used his own gun.
Oh, yeah. It's in Illinois, so that's where he's originally from. They must have thought it was actually
Bro.
Sebastian Maniscalco, the comedian.
So the other guy's been captured and faces murder charges under an Illinois statute that allows for such crimes to be leveled against suspects if they take part in a felony offense that leads to another person's death.
Man.
Oof.
Crazy.
Fuck, man. You know, and that's why people have guns. You know, and nobody wants to hear that story. You don't want to hear that story because that story is a pro-gun story. You know, it's anti-gun because someone tried to rob the guy's house with a gun, but it's pro-gun in if he didn't have a gun, what would have happened?
You saw
it's anti-gun because someone used a gun in a robbery, but it's pro if he didn't have a gun, maybe his family would be dead. Do you see? You have to be able to see both sides because the gun control argument is such a weird one. People, they dig heels in. Left people dig on this side. They have, a set of beliefs that you're allowed to have. And then the people on the right dig on another side. You know, the Second Amendment is right. It's not a privilege. You know, we own this, and this is...
And the media definitely doesn't cover it when it goes right.
No.
With guns.
They did here because it's Sebastian's cousin.
Right.
But it's not like... If it went the other way, you know, if some people got shot to death inside their home, it would be an anti-gun argument. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is interesting because if you have a gun like he did, the people broke into his house and he was able to protect his family. That's the best case scenario for gun ownership. Well, the best case scenario is never having to use it. And the next best is being able to use it to protect your family because that's what it's there for. So it's actually a pro-gun story. It's an anti-gun. It would be an anti-gun story if he didn't have a gun. That's what's crazy. If he didn't have a gun and the guy shot his family, it would be an anti-gun story. But because he had a gun, it's a pro-gun story. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So
You saw the one with the church where the guy went in for a mass shooting and the guy standing against the back wall of the church had a gun too and just got him right away.
Yeah. Yeah. An armed, trained man with a gun. I know a guy in Vegas. He got carjacked recently. And he's like a competitive shooter. I mean, he has videos of him practicing shooting with pistols, a marksman, incredible fast draw, and he killed this guy in a gunfight. That's a pro-gun story. A guy pulled a gun on him. and he could have lost his life. Instead, he survived because he had a gun. It's one of those things. Guns are like one of those things, like being a person. It's being a person's weird. It's all sorts. It's not clear. We're not numbers, right? This is all. It fluctuates. What we are, the way we live fluctuates. Right now, things are weird. Almost all of our decisions that we have to make about everything are like, well, if we just open up the country, we're going to lose a lot of people. We should maybe hold it back. And then the other argument, if we don't open up the country, we're going to lose a lot of people. So what are we going to do? We're going to let the people die because of despair and homelessness and suicide, drug addiction, because they've lost everything. There's going to be those too. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like everything else, man. Like all things involving people. I'm like, it's like, oh, well, there's this and there's that. There's a lot of stuff like this that people want to have like a definitive answer. Like, are we waiting too long to open up? Or is Florida jumping in too quick? Who's right? Who's wrong? We don't fucking know.
Yeah.
These are educated guesses. But it's just one of those things like being a person. When things get started up again and no one knows what the future is going to be, there's just a lot of predicting. And we're not right all the time. you know?
It's just especially scary because the news is so picky and choosy and weird about how they're covering things. It seems like it's almost all bad news now on the cable news programs.
Yeah.
And
that's where they get the most money. It's like they're being rewarded for it. But I mean, I understand from their perspective is that they only have an hour and there's a lot of fucking bad news. When you're getting all the bad news from 7 billion people plus around the world, a lot of it's going to suck. You only have an hour. Things are happening 24 hours a day. The news itself as like a show is really preposterous.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to condense it all into an hour. But isn't it the real stuff that's happening? How can it be condensed at all? And do you have to do that anymore? Do you know? Like when this guy has this show and that guy has that show and the show goes for an hour and they're going to cover these details and show you what went wrong. Like, there's so many things that went wrong.
Yeah.
If you just want to concentrate on things that went wrong, you could do it 24 hours a day and never run out of material. But you got to almost kind of, is that the world? Is it things that went wrong? Is that the world? Or is the world like a lot of shit that went right? Like when we're hearing the news, all they really want to discuss is the things that are going to freak you the fuck out. There's not a whole lot dedicated to making you feel good about our prospects, right? There's not a whole lot. It does control a lot of how the people who watch it think about things because they're really influential. They're wearing makeup. There's a spotlight on them.
And it says news and it has a ticker.
Yeah.
And we're meant to believe that we can trust them.
Good Lord. It's hard to trust anybody. It's hard to trust anybody when things are weird. You don't know who's telling the truth. Like, oh my God, there's so many different things that are going on all at once right now, right? They're trying to figure out if the disease came from a lab. Did they accidentally release this thing? China's mad at us and we're mad at China and all these countries are going to sue China. Like, there's so many things that are bouncing around in sort of the global consciousness that you have to pay attention to. I heard Kim Jong-un was sick. Oh my God, he might die. They flew in Chinese doctors. His sister might take over. Ooh. And then we got to pay attention to the sister. She looks mean, man.
Yeah.
The sister looks mean. Like that kind of stuff is if you absorb what's in the media, that kind of stuff will literally change the way you view the world, and that will change the way you act in the world, and that will literally make things suck. It'll make things suck more if you go out and only concentrate on things that are terrible.
Another show that's up there with Ozarks for me now is Succession. And that is about a very rich family that owns their own cable news channel.
Oh, God.
And very, very interesting to see from that perspective. Not to say that it's completely accurate, but, I mean, they have control. If they want something promoted or left out, it's just that easy. Like you said, they're smashing it all into an hour, even though it keeps running, but like an hour program. It's so easy just to decide what you leave out. Does so much for something or a story or a product or a stock or anything that you invest in or own yourself or anything like that.
Yeah.
And Yeah, Succession's a really great one for sort of, it's almost like a House of Cards-esque view, how they let you into the presidency, they let you into a cable news network. Like they had that one with Jeff Daniels, the newsroom or whatever, but that was sort of janky.
Oh yeah, that was the one where he would go on these rants.
Yeah.
They're pretty good, but a guy who rants that well all the time, I'm like, hey bro, you planning this?
Right.
Like, what kind of human being do you want to hear go on these perfectly worded rants all the time? You know? Wasn't that weird? Like, that was his thing. Like, that was his soft kung fu. His soft martial art was these rants. He would bust them out like Tai Chi in the park. And you'd be like, come on, no one talks like this. You have conversations with people. You don't just go on these crazy rants. Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that
Nobody
interesting that they'll try that with a character? When a guy's really good at rants, like, you should just do this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, every movie with Al Pacino has to have some kind of rant. Right? Always. That's part of who he is.
Yeah.
He's the guy that has a monologue where everybody's standing around going, and then he'll start yelling at you.
You ever
Because he's
seen-
the devil or whatever.
Yeah, I was going to say the Devil's Advocate's the best one of that because he literally just gets crazier and
I
crazier
wish
until
we
he's
could play
Satan.
it. I wish we could play it. Yeah. He was a fucking wizard, man. Who was better in his prime than Al Pacino? Think about Scarface. God damn.
Yeah. Have you seen The Irishman?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Dude, it got rough reviews, but I loved it, man. I was shocked because I had super low expectations. I actually put it on thinking I was going to like fall asleep or something. It was one of those where I'm like, I'm just going to throw this on. I heard
like
it
a
wasn't
3
that
hour, right?
great. Oh, and I was up the whole time. I was
Really?
amped, dude. If you love Martin Scorsese, you're going to love this movie. It's like Scorsese doing his, it's just great. Plus Sebastian's in it. Al Pacino destroys.
Is that Jerry Seinfeld's brother?
Look at this cast.
Ray Romano.
Ray Romano
Is that Ray?
kills it.
Look, he looks so weird with that outfit on. I didn't even recognize him. That's a weird picture, and he's in the dark. All right, I didn't watch it. I'll watch it. I did
Yeah.
hear some fucked up reviews.
Oh, you know what? I'm glad I heard bad reviews before watching this because it really lowered my expectations, and I spent the whole time going, "This is so great." Because I thought it was.
Why'd they say it was bad? What were they saying was bad about it? I just heard bad. Isn't that funny how easy you are to convince? Like, I really didn't look into it. I didn't ask my friends.
Right.
I was like, oh, someone said it's bad.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was good.
Oh,
I loved
look
it.
at Sebastian.
Sebastian kills it in this movie.
He plays the crazy Joe Gallo. That's
Oh,
almost
does he
the
really?
Opposite of the character you guys were saying. Like, he's such a nice guy.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
He's not silly at all in this movie. He plays a fucking badass, which is so cool. I love it when comedians have those contrasting characters.
Yeah. Well, Jim Carrey did that a lot, right? Jim Carrey played some crazy characters.
Yeah. The cable guy was still pretty funny.
It's still kind of funny, but it was real dark.
The Truman Show was a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a real good one. That is everybody's life now. Everybody with Instagram Live, that's their life now, you know?
That's a great movie to rewatch and look at all the little details, where all the little cameras are, why they're showing you things. The Truman Show's a smart, cool movie.
I just found out, I was looking into the guy that wrote it. He wrote some cool movies that we've talked almost similarly about, like Gattaca, like the topics of Gattaca.
Oh, wow.
That really cool movie, if you've never seen it, called Lord of War with Nicolas Cage, where he plays like an arms dealer. Was
Yeah, I think I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No shit.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage is going to play Joe Exotic. Hear about
I
that?
love it. I love it. They need to speed this up and just get it done. Figure out a
Oh,
way.
please, God. Please, God.
Put these
I just-
cameramen in hazmat suits and film it.
I just want Joe Exotic to be let out of jail. That's what I want. We need a season 2. Come on, Trump.
Let's go.
Pardon that dude. I'm not buying it. I think they railroaded him.
For sure. The guy admits it. That other zoo owner guy admits it.
Yeah. Yeah, he said they railroaded him, right?
Yeah.
It's all weird, man. Like, he definitely did a lot of stupid shit. You know? He definitely terrorized that lady. But it seems like she might have killed her husband, too.
Yeah.
Like, that seems like that's a possibility.
They need to open that case.
Well, it seems like
It's the only thing everybody on that show agrees on.
Once someone just disappears like that, is that really the picture?
No, someone's photoshopped it from
Well, that's hit Nicolas Cage from a long time ago,
yeah,
son.
yeah, but
He doesn't look that
looks
good right
pretty
now.
good.
Yeah, that's probably 15, 20 years old. That's crazy. He's going to be perfect for that role. Remember him in Raising Arizona? Fucking great, man.
So good.
He was great in that movie. That is a great movie. That's a fun fucking movie. Raising Arizona.
It's like Con Air, I think. Right.
Was that what it's from?
I think the
Con
picture
Air.
where you- yeah.
The world of blockbuster movies. What a weird world that must be, being one of them guys.
I can't wait to see that. I wonder how they're going to play that or write that.
Gee, it's not going to be as good as the real thing.
Right.
Let him out of jail.
Yep.
Come on, get together all your Netflix money.
Yep.
Hire a good lawyer. Let him out of jail.
He was just impossible to stop watching.
He feels bad, and he won't do it again. Let him out. Let him out, and let's see what kind of straight guys he can convert. The guy must be some sort of hypnotist.
Heck yeah. He's like a gay guy and a homophobe at the same time. He has a gun, toting a gun. He's got his own zoo. He's a tough guy in the middle of Oklahoma that is gay as hell.
Bro, he held it together when that cat was dragging him by his foot. He pulled off his gun and he shot and didn't even shoot the cat. He shot and shot away from the cat.
Yeah.
Like that is a person who knows how to handle shit under pressure
In front of a camera.
in front of a camera.
You can almost hear him say, "Goddamn lying if they weren't filming this."
He's got to be aware of how famous he is right now, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he really knows. He probably has an idea, but he's not out, right? If he was, I bet the guards taunt him, "Hey, bro, you're like the most famous guy in America, and here's your fucking lunch." He slides over some terrible meatloaf.
Yeah.
Got him in solitary. I don't know, man. She had a husband that just disappeared, and she conveniently left him. He conveniently left her, rather, the whole business, all the money, all of his documents had been altered previous to his death. Like, there's so much of it that you're like, what? And she has like 100 tigers.
Crazy.
Whatever. That's not even. I mean, the guy's missing, and she's devastated.
Yeah.
Can you imagine your wife chopping you up, feeding you to a fucking pit full of tigers, like a Conan movie?
What better way to get rid of a body, really?
Pigs.
Yeah.
Yeah, pigs who probably wouldn't leave any of it. Maybe cats might do it too. Eventually, they might chew through the bones. I wonder if they do that. Wolves definitely do. Wolves chew right through bones, which is really crazy if you think about it. Like they're chewing through like a moose bone. Yeah.
The Tiger Park reopened over the weekend to
Congratulations.
large crowds.
GW Zoo?
Of course.
Yeah.
Really?
It's fucking huge now. It's like it's a reality show.
I saw an article where the lady that got her arm bitten off in that documentary.
It's a man, you piece of shit.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh.
Jesus Christ. You just misgendered her.
I apologize to the zookeeper there.
Look, everyone, Tony's been under a lot of stress. He's been trapped at home. He
true.
hasn't done stand-up in 6 weeks. He didn't mean it.
But I saw an article that just came out yesterday that said that she thinks that the zoos shouldn't open because the tigers could give it to each other. Like they don't have a way of distancing the tigers.
LOL.
And I thought to
Do
myself,
they even know if it goes to tigers?
that's I mean, there was one thing that said that it did, that one tested positive.
I wonder how it affects them.
Yeah.
Maybe they just carry it and it doesn't affect them.
I don't know.
Well, I was telling you, Jamie. Well, we were talking about this before. The different groups of people that in the weirdest way are asymptomatic. That thing that I sent you, did I send that to you, Jamie?
No, but
Let me pull it up. One of them was about, I think it was a meat packing plant, and they had some insane number of employees tested positive. All of them asymptomatic. Let me see. I know I have it in here somewhere. If you just give me a second, I'll find it.
I'm looking too. I got a pork plant in Missouri.
Yes,
the one?
that's exactly where it is. And that's the place, Missouri just opened up concerts. They're like, let's do it. Woo! So, so here it is.
Interesting.
370 workers at a pork plant in Missouri tested positive for coronavirus all of them were asymptomatic. All of them.
That is the work of a boss that gets everybody to work and tells them all to lie. You never had any symptoms,
That could be true, huh?
right?
That's possible. That's totally possible. That's totally possible. Yeah, you got to take that into consideration.
We'll all get in trouble.
But if they were all there and they tested them, would they have been able to tell if any of them were exhibiting any symptoms? Yeah, that might be a thing, right? They might be influenced to not say it. It's hard to say. Yeah, when you look at something that's a good point. You nailed it there, dude. When you look at something that's that wild, like all of you,
Yeah.
no one felt anything and still worked.
If not, we all need to move to Missouri.
Right. Huh. Yeah, you can't tell, right? You can't tell. Like, you can't just say. And the other one was prisoners. There was a group of prisoners that I'll see if I can find you. I'll pull that article up for you. A group of prisoners, and they tested them, and some insane number, like 96% of them.
98%. Yeah,
98?
Tennessee.
Yeah.
98% tested. But let me check. See how many
98% were asymptomatic. So I was thinking about this, and God, I forget who I was talking to this about this. And they were talking. I think it was Kyle Klinsky. And we were talking about your immune system. That your immune system, when you're in a place like a prison, is probably super strong because there's so many people around you. You're always interacting with all this different bacteria. Whereas if you just like live by yourself in an apartment, like you've quarantined for these 5 weeks, and then you're going to go back out into the world, your immune system is like your cardiovascular system. It's like you don't use it. So because you don't use it, it's weak.
Right.
Your cardiovascular system, if you're exercising all the time, you boost your capacity.
Yeah.
And he was thinking that like that's probably what it's like in prison too. And I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Like we would think that prison would be really unhealthy. And it probably is for your mind, but for your body because you're getting shitty food. But for your immune system, it might actually be quite a workout, right?
Yeah.
As long as you're getting enough nutrition, they probably have to feed them some sort of balanced diets, right? I mean, I would imagine. How bad do you think prison food is?
Pretty bad. Pretty
Yeah.
bad.
Like, are there requirements? What kind of nutrition they have to provide to them?
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. Like, how bad? I mean, it must be terrible. Who's complaining? Like, if they're complaining, this food sucks. Like, no one's hearing you, bro.
Yeah.
You're inside a cage. You don't get a cell phone. You don't get nothing. You get to go outside and make calls that last like 7 minutes. And then you got to put more coins in, do it again. And you stand there in the hallway having these conversations, these once-a-week conversations with your friends.
Crazy. Crazy.
What's fucked up about prison is, like, I don't think it works. You know, it's like, I don't want to compare people to dogs, but I'm gonna.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about this before, that, like, if you get a dog, and I've rescued dogs that were just, they were older, and they'd seen too much shit. And by the time you get to them, they're all fucked up. You know, they growl at people, they snap at people. Like, you got a rescue dog that wants to bite people, you can't. You know, you want a puppy so that when you raise the puppy, you can teach the puppy that you love it and this is family and everybody's cool, and you got to listen to the rules though. You can't shit in the house. You can't, and then you teach it, and then it becomes like this. I think, in a way, it's really hard to train an older dog. I know some people are experts at it, but I think they just don't want to learn, and their life has just been fucked over by people. And if you get like a 7-year-old, 8-year-old pound dog that's been abused, like, ugh.
Yeah.
Fuck that poor dog. They don't want, and it's almost like with some humans, the abuse that life throws at us from the time you're young, you're kind of like trying to deal with it as you get older and maybe fix yourself and try to like balance your own self out. But every now and then you'll forget how easy you have it in comparison to some people. Like if you see some people's lives where it's just poverty and crime and like fucking everyone around them was either a criminal or on drugs, and it's like fucking everywhere you look you see despair. You don't see any happiness. For someone to come through that, to have the same expectations as they have someone who came through even like my childhood, which was not that bad. My childhood was a little weird, but it wasn't bad. No one was no one was abusive to me. Mm-hmm. when someone's abusive to you, and then all of a sudden you find yourself you're 32 and you're trying to get your shit together, but you have visions of being raped or beaten by your uncles, and whatever the fuck it is that's inside your head that just like all day defines you.
Yeah.
It's so hard for people to turn gears. It's so hard for people that have just said, you know what, I'm just gonna numb myself with pills. I'm just gonna, like those guys, I'm just going to numb myself. It's so hard for those guys to get out of that. Right. It's so hard to go, no, I'm going to run every day and eat healthy food, and I'm going to drink only water. That's hard. That's way harder than just taking oxys. So many people just want to slide. And if you meet a guy and he's like 31 and he's taking oxys, like, how much can you change him? Like, you almost want, you have to be so driven to change yourself. And a lot of people just aren't.
Yeah, it's hard to do that stuff if you're not in the routine of doing that anyway. Exercise and drink water.
Just be healthy. Go to sleep early. It's hard. It's fucking hard to do. It's hard to not be self-destructive.
Yeah.
But with people, the crazy thing is sometimes they can do it. Sometimes you can get a guy who's 32, hooked on heroin, and then 10 years later he's running marathons and writing books and super positive, eating healthy, and now he has a family and he's a different person. That does happen too. That's the thing about people. It's like some of us get through. Like, how many people run 100 miles? Not many, but I know like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's not that many, but some people do it. And I almost think like getting your shit together is a lot like running 100 miles. Like, everyone can do it if you just force yourself to do it. But it's fucking hard to run 100 miles. I can only imagine how hard. I've never done it.
Right.
I would imagine fucking hard to run 100 miles. Well, it's fucking hard to get your life together too. Yeah. Both things are hard, but some people do them. Less people run 100 miles than get their shit together though. So it seems to be easier than running 100 miles by my measurements.
Yeah.
Still hard though. It's fucking hard. It's hard to run a mile.
For sure.
Tell people to run a mile. Most people are just like, what? A mile? No problem. Bitch, go run a mile. Mm-hmm. Go run a mile. Not shuffle. Not little. No, I want you to move your body. I want you to spring, bounce. Let's keep going. 1 mile.
It's hard.
It's not easy.
And it changes depending on anything as easy as your last meal.
Yes.
You know?
Oh, dude.
You get a bowl of spaghetti and try to go for a run.
Especially like meatballs. Those
so
breaded meatballs. Oh my God.
That's another thing I've gotten better at during this
Cooking?
Quarantine. Oh, dude.
I got to give you some elk.
Yes, absolutely. Please do.
All I want is pictures. Take pictures.
For sure.
Take some food porn for me.
Absolutely. Ready to go. I actually fucking there's this farmer's market right by where I live. The original LA farmer's market. And so they have like multiple butcher shops. And I was going to different ones when this whole thing first started and trying out different things and different combinations of basically remaking each week my mom's meat sauce, which is different than our regular sauce that has meatballs and this and that. Anyway, and I kept testing out these different concoctions, and one time I nailed it and it really tasted like hers. And I went back to that butcher shop and did it again, and I said to the guy, I go, yeah, that stuff I made last week came out just like my mom's. And he goes, where are you from? I said, Youngstown. And it turns out that butcher shop was and is from originally there, and that it is the same. It's basically the same stuff. It's all the same, like meat or cut or whatever they do or how they do it was the same thing. So
what are you putting in your sauce? Like, how are you doing when you say meat sauce? Are you using ground beef? Are you using
a percentage of ground beef? Basically, like 50% ground beef, 25% hot ground up Italian sausage, and 25% pork.
Wow, you have a formula.
Oh yeah, baby, and it's been something that I've been tweaking here and there. It comes out fucking good now.
So you're getting all the food, all the meat from this one place?
Well, I get my sausage and my pork from there and the ground beef from the other place. I have it all figured out now.
So you're like getting deep into this shit.
Oh, yeah.
What else are you cooking?
Well, I mean, really, I'm a big sucker for pasta. So it's like a lot of different types of sauces and experimentations, like the vodka sauce with like a pinker sauce. And
Do you think people hate you because you're so slim and beautiful, and yet you eat pasta all day?
I mean, if they only knew how much pasta
You eat a lot.
I eat so much pasta, it's crazy. I eat pasta like a fucking one of those TLC shows where like people can't get out of bed without eating pasta. I am an 800-pound man in this fucking toothpick body.
You're a great eater. When we do shows and then eat after shows, you eat like a motherfucker, dude.
I'm
You eat
always
a lot
proud of
food.
myself when I take down more than you. I'm always like, yeah, I'm a real fucking man. I'm a man.
You know who could eat us both under the table? Who could literally eat the same amount both of us would eat?
Who?
Ari Shafir.
Oh, yeah.
At Fogo de Chao. Because it's it's not free, you pay, but
Right.
it's all you can eat. I should have said.
to get my money's worth.
Well, for him, I'm serious. If the food keeps coming, he's going to keep eating it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't cost anything, because it's green when you want to go, like when you want to keep, and they come around with these plates full of all this crazy meats and sausages and chicken legs and all this different stuff, and they just keep coming, and you can just take as much as you want, and then when you got to tap out, you flip your coin over to red.
He's so cheap, he takes that coin with him at the end.
Ari just eats. He just eats.
is.
It's great. We're stunned afterwards. Everyone's sitting around. Joey Diaz is done. I'm done. Duncan's done. We're staring at him. He's like, I'm not going to stop.
Yeah.
Why should I stop? They're going to keep bringing it.
Yep.
If you keep bringing it, I'm going to keep eating it.
It's
Fuck
so
it.
good.
He just kept chowing like a wolf.
Yeah.
Like he was filling himself up.
That's the food. That I'll feel more of an impact by eating a couple pounds of meat like that than I will from all the pasta in the world.
That's interesting.
Fogo de Chao slows me down for the evening. I've learned that if I have Fogo de Chao for lunch, I don't do it on a night where I have to work, which is obviously most nights, but now not. But anyway, that's the one that would affect me, is just a lot of meat.
See, for me, it's totally the opposite.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, like when I love pasta too, man. I love it. It's so good.
Oh God,
It's so good.
there's so many different kinds too, and they
I
all do
love it.
different things. Like angel hair is great for some things.
You know
and
what
then-
I like? There's this twisty pasta. It's like long like spaghetti,
Yeah.
but it's thicker. Like so the tube's thicker, and it's like spirally.
It's long.
Yeah. It's long like a spaghetti.
Wow, but
I wish I knew the
twirly
name of
like
it.
a rotini.
Yeah. But twirly all the way down, like spaghetti that's twirly. It's so good.
How
I got
long?
it from,
Like that long?
Like a real piece of spaghetti,
Wow,
like a
that's
normal piece of
crazy.
spaghetti. Yeah, dude, it's actually probably a little longer. I get it from Italy, so I
Oh.
bought like a couple of cases of it off of Amazon.
Oh.
I'm so addicted to it.
Yeah, I want to know what that is. The world needs
I'll
long,
send you a photo of it afterwards. But
long rotini.
it comes in like this yellow package. That's exactly what it looks like. Fusilli longhi. Long pot. So it's long fusilli. It's so good, dude. So what I like to do, if I eat domestic animals, in particular, this is how I like to. A lot of times when if I have ribeye with spaghetti, I'll cook the ribeye and get it like just about medium rare, and then I slice that bitch up and drop it into the tomato sauce. Just a couple more minutes. Just get it all in there, get all that juicy in there, and then dump these big thick slices of ribeye with tomato sauce on that Italian pasta.
Yeah.
Oh, I can get fat.
Yes.
Get so fat.
And it's beautiful. Sometimes you can put the pasta. You make your pasta. Some pastas are better put in the sauce directly.
Yeah.
And some are better, obviously, keeping them separated. And some absorb the sauce. And some of them you cook longer in the sauce, and some of them you don't.
See, this resonates with everybody. Delicious pasta resonates with everybody. That's why so many women were mad when Adele lost all that weight.
Yes.
They're like, no, bitch, I don't want to give up on this fucking pasta.
Yeah.
I was with you when you were big.
Yeah.
See, there's a new photo of her.
Yeah, no, I saw it this morning.
Did you see the
and
controversy?
first thing I knew, literally the first thing that I thought of the second my eyes laid on that picture, I'm like, this is going to be crazy because people are going to say in these comments that she's beautiful, and that's going to be hilarious because you're basically saying that she wasn't beautiful before by saying that she's beautiful now in a weird way. They're sort of insinuated, and I didn't even realize until 2 hours or an hour later after I had woken up that it became like this like news story. So it's just funny to me because like it's like Is her voice the same? Right? Because that's what matters.
Well, it's funny in that why wouldn't you want to applaud someone who did something that's really difficult to do and is now healthier?
Yeah.
If you are an Adele fan, wouldn't you want her to be healthier? Wouldn't you? I mean, you want her to be able to keep singing for longer, right? You love her. You want her to be healthier. You don't want her to get... One of the main things they found in New York City about people that caught COVID-19 that was a real problem was obesity. Big problem. Mm-hmm. She was, at one point in time, much larger, and now she's like really slim. Yeah. And people are mad and saying, this is what they're saying, I don't want her to be applauded for losing weight as if it's some wording like this. Like that, I don't want to adhere to these beauty standards, that she's better looking because she lost weight. But she is.
Yep.
And you know that. The only reason why anybody would want to fight against that when so many people overwhelmingly think she looks better is because they don't want to look at themselves. It's that simple. They don't want to change. And they want you to they're trying to bully you into deciding they're beautiful if they're 210 pounds. Yeah. That's really what it is. It's like we're redefining beauty standards. You can't do that.
Right.
You can't decide that the way you look is what everybody should like. That's crazy. You can't do that. And if people have decided worldwide that fitter, healthier bodies are more attractive, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
That's what you can't. It's not redefining beauty standards. The beauty standards come from what people are attracted to. Yeah, it's not fair. You're right. It's not fair. A lot of shit in life's not fair.
Yep.
That's just how it is.
Yeah.
If you choose to stay big, that is your choice. I know it's a difficult choice to try to move your body down and lose weight and get healthy. We already talked about that. We were just talking about it. But you can't say that it's unattractive when someone has a good body, because it is. So if someone has a better body than they used to have, it looks better. Mm-hmm. So that's what a beauty standard is. This is what people are attracted to when it comes to bodies. They're attracted to fit bodies. That's not a shame. That's not a bad thing. Like the idea that this is somehow or another that's something we need to avoid and putting undue pressure on people, it's nonsense. It looks great. If it's pressure on you because other people look great, well, what do you do with that pressure? Do you decide to be better, better yourself, take care of yourself better? Do you decide that it's not worth as much to you to worry about what your body looks like and you're more concentrated on maybe art or whatever the fuck else? That's fine too. Yeah. But you can't be mad at people that put a lot of energy in that direction and look better.
Right.
Because she looks better. It's not a bad thing.
And isn't saying that everybody's body is beautiful no matter what, doesn't that make it like worse for the people with ugly faces? You know what I mean? Because like then they're more part of just a smaller group. Like if there's some lady that has like her eyes are on like the side of her head,
but she has a banging body.
Right.
She still gets action.
Yeah, I guess.
No problem at all.
Yeah.
Of course, she's hot.
Well,
dude, men don't care that much
where your eyes are.
It's beauty standards are just what are people attracted to. And people are generally attracted to people that are healthier. Yeah. That's just a physical thing. That's a part of, and we're only talking about attractive, like sexual attraction, right? We're not saying, if you're 20 or 30 pounds overweight, like you look horrible and I don't want to look at you. Like I have a lot of friends that are fat, yeah. But it is what it is. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm. And maybe they'll find somebody that's into that.
But you can't like decide that people are going to change what they're attracted to. That's silly. You can't do that. Like they are attracted to people that put out more effort. They're attracted to people that have the strength to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go to the gym before work. There's something really hot about that. It's attractive.
Yeah.
It's attractive someone who takes care of themselves. It is. It just is. Now, it might not be to you, but that's why the world's beautiful, because we can all have different things that we like and different things we don't like. But when a giant chunk of people are into this one thing, like nice bodies, it doesn't mean that it's all shallow or terrible or it's somehow or another demeaning to people that don't adhere to those standards. No, it's a competition. There's some sort of a physical physiological competition between males and females in terms of like trying to be attractive. And that's one of the things they do. They make their body look better. Another thing they do is dress nice. They wear jewelry. They do stuff to make themselves look better. The idea that making your body look better is somehow or another, this is a bad standard to adhere to when you take your big body that you're not taking care of and you wrap it up in all this crazy clothes and all these ribbons and bows, and you show your bare midriff because you're brave, and you got your big old ass and these jeans. Like, yeah, it still looks pretty good. Don't get me wrong. You still look great.
Honestly,
But
I
it's
thought
not.
Adele looked a little. I thought she looked cuter, a little bit thicker. Now she sort of looks. I mean, granted, she looks healthier, but she looks a little bit more just basic. You know what I mean? Sort of just like all the other pop stars.
Well, in every movie where there's a guy who's kind of a fuck up, who's going to get in trouble, it's a guy who's built like you with a woman who's like 250 pounds, and she tells him what to do. So maybe it's like a thing. Like that's like hasn't David Spade played a character like that where there's like he's got a big wife or a big girl, right? There's always a few of those.
I think so.
Maybe that's your thing. Maybe you liked Adele when she
Shallow
was
Hal.
Shallow Hal.
Jack
Yes,
Black
that's
and Gwyneth Paltrow.
right. Yeah, dude. Maybe that's your thing.
Is what?
Big ones. You like them big. So when Adele was big, you're like, yes, control me, hold me down.
Maybe, I don't know. I want to know what her voice sounds like. What if she sounds horrible now? Because like if she had that operatic, right?
Yeah.
Powerful voice.
I was having a conversation with a buddy who told me he liked to have a ball gag put in his mouth. It's like, really?
Who was he talking? Was he talking about during sex?
I think, yeah, exactly.
Was this a podcast?
Yeah, no, during sex.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like what people are into, I'm saying. You know, I'm not saying that people can't be into big girls. There's a lot of people into big girls. But a lot of people are into everything, you know? But that's okay too. Like a lot of people are into weird stuff.
You got to try out different things, I think. If you can get it, it's fun.
Dude, people's brains are not the same.
Right.
The idea that what you like, I'm supposed to like, or what I like, you're supposed to like. You spend so much time watching pro wrestling.
Yeah.
I watch it every now and then. I'm like, that's a crazy move.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
But you can. We're different.
You can too. You just haven't. You just haven't yet. I'll never give up on that.
I was gonna push his buttons.
Have to do a fight companion with a wrestling event sometime.
Well, as a comic, you're probably the greatest wrestling. In terms of like, who's a real evangelist? You're a wrestling evangelist. You're always trying to get people to watch pro wrestling.
Not every. I don't think it's for everybody, but I think you would love it.
I don't think so.
One without the WrestleMania event. What did you? The Undertaker's match.
Yeah.
That's a sell to him.
I like the girls. The girls wrestling seems more realistic.
WrestleMania was great. What about The Undertaker? You didn't like it? It was very cinematic. They've been doing things more like a movie as of late because they don't have an audience.
Great way to put it. Cinematic.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Ronda Rousey. She made a great transition to WWE. She really did. She really did.
Yeah, she's great at it.
Well, she's a pro. You know, like that's why she was a medalist in judo in the Olympics. That's why she was a beast in MMA. She's a pro, and she took to that like a pro. Like she really played the heel well. She played mean well.
Yeah.
It was great, you know, and physically she could do so much with her judo. There's so much shit that and the way how strong she is, the way she could throw women around. It's pretty crazy.
And because of that, that's what really works is when it looks like she messed something up sort of is the best stuff. That's what you sort of
So
want.
it makes it feel real to you.
Right.
Why don't you just watch real shit? The fuck is wrong
I do.
with you?
I watch real stuff too. There's a huge crossover of people that
Enormous.
are MMA and pro wrestling fans.
Even like really respected journalists in MMA.
Oh, yeah.
Big time MMA.
Oh, they were
fans.
all going crazy over WrestleMania. I couldn't believe it. Ariel Helwani and Brett Okamoto, all of them were talking about. I could not believe it because I don't follow many people on Twitter, but I follow those guys, and I'm like, these MMA. And sure enough, the one like wrestling journalist that I followed on it was like, this is crap. This is the worst WrestleMania ever. Like, I'm like, oh my God, this is nuts.
But isn't that always the case? Someone's going to say it's fucking terrible, and someone's going to say it was the best thing I've ever seen.
Right.
With fucking everything.
Yep.
Everything. God damn it.
Yep. And that's like why The Irishman shocked me. Granted, it's not it's not like Parasite where it's like, wow, what a crazy work of art. But it was a great Scorsese movie to me. And like there's a bad critic for everything now. And whoever got that out there, that The Irishman bad, made it better for me because it lowered my expectations.
Dude, I saw people commenting about Ozark.
Yeah.
Negatively commenting about Ozark. I'm like, okay, this is just proof of my thing.
Yep.
That show's a masterpiece.
Yes.
It's a masterpiece. If you're into a dramatic thriller where you don't know where the fuck they're going, that show is a goddamn masterpiece.
Yep.
Every show leaves you hanging on the edge. You can't wait to find out what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
It's a masterpiece. And I was reading all these dismissive comments. I was like, oh my God, thank you. It just like puts it all in perspective. Like, who are we listening to? Who's writing that?
Yeah. Jason Bateman's a monster.
Monster!
The fact that he's directing that is insane. Like, that's a great transition to directing.
One time, though, his daughter had a cell phone, and she had an Android phone, and she was making a text to him, and like he was making a text to her, and they would see the ... dots. But you don't get those on an Android phone.
Oh, very interesting.
Yeah, you get those if you've got an iPhone, bitch.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right? That's why Ian Edwards keeps an Android. It's like, son, I don't want anybody to know what I'm texting from a fucking computer. He goes, you tell me you could be texting some shit and someone's reading it on a computer? Why is it even on there? I'm like, he's right.
So
You ever get a
funny.
text message in your laptop, you just feel violated? Like, what is this? Why are you texting me here? Why is it showing up here?
No.
I'm trying to get away from my phone. I'm
Yeah.
working over here.
Yeah,
Doink.
yeah.
That's annoying, right?
I just got a new laptop and I can't figure out how to shut that off.
Oh, you got to go in your settings.
I couldn't find it.
Yeah, you can
there.
shut
I
it
couldn't
off, but
figure
sometimes
out.
it turns itself on again.
It's super annoying.
It's weird too because Apple figured out that the blue bubble looks better. It's really simple. And so if a text message comes in, it doesn't just say text message instead of iMessage. No. You also get a different color, bitch.
Imagine if it was black.
But here's the thing is it's like, oh, black with white letters is pretty dope.
Yeah, that'd be the best.
But here's the thing. Well, you could do that too, right?
Oh,
You know, you get nighttime mode.
I got to do that.
You don't know about that?
No.
I know I've mentioned this before, but the thing that really bothers me about it is that the color for the app is green. Because they fucked it by putting the mail app blue, and you can't just have another blue app. But
Yeah, but when you do get a green bubble with a black screen is not as bad. The color combination of green on black is not as bad as green on white. Green on white is kind of offensive. It just looks wrong. It doesn't belong with it. It's like they tricked us. It's very wise because all text used to be green. And then they realized blue looks better. Shh, quickly, take the blue. They just took blue. They just took it. But here's the thing. If you have an Android phone and you send it through their messages app, you know, their little client that they use to send text messages, you can have it all kinds of colors. You could change it. You could make it red. You can make it black. You could do a bunch of shit. It's all customizable. That's why they like it. But Apple keeps you locked into their little system.
I've updated my Windows PC recently, and they're trying to do something like that. I'm not letting my phone and computer buy into it, but it's like, hey, by the way, you know, you can connect your phone when you sign in now and have all of this shit here. I'm like, no, don't do that.
Whenever I see those messages, I read them back to myself in the same voice as the demon trying to convince Bruce Jenner to be a woman. Remember that bit that I used to do?
That was fun.
That's how I read them. Like, you can connect your phone. Come on. Join the Matrix.
You would know a little bit about this. There's something I not discovered last night, but there's a new popular game that's out, and the anti-cheat like program that runs in the background of your computer goes all the way down to the kernels of your computer, which is something different.
Don't be a pussy.
But
Nothing wrong
they're now saying that this is
with being in your kernels.
the company that owns this and runs it is based in China, and that it's a potential spyware or something like that.
Racist. Nothing wrong with Chinese stuff in your kernels. Relax. Lock into the Matrix. How long before the first person gets in the Matrix? Do we have 5 years even? I don't think so. I don't think we have 5 years before we have bolts in the back of our head that we tie into a
I
clamp.
got
Big old hose.
thing right here. I was looking around. This is a potential
Oh, Jesus
from
Christ.
Northwestern University, a COVID tracking thing that they tested with like less than 30 people, but
Oh, my God.
it
That's
was used
so
to
crazy.
track stroke patients and like changes in your breathing and lungs or something, and like sounds in there that connect to a device, which is your phone, and let you know if something's up.
What better way to get integrated with the grid than to create a virus that makes you wear a mask, takes away your humanity, can't touch each other, got to stay away, no social contact, so you're getting more and more addicted to your TV and your phone, more and more addicted to your laptop. And I'll free you, but you got to take a test, and then I got to put a tracking thing on you because I want to make sure that you're a good boy, Tony. You're a good boy. You don't go catching no COVID and spreading it around. So I got to know where you are so I can chart out the health of the public.
Frightening.
Whew. Can't give that up, folks. 5-stage reopening process based on risk.
For Los Angeles, announced within the hour or so.
Stage 1, safer at home order. Planning for recovery. Stage 2, which you're about to go into. That's now, right?
This is as of Friday.
This Friday. Florists, some retailers, car dealerships, golf courses, and trails soon. Other low-risk businesses, manufacturers, office, retail, essential healthcare, outdoor recreation, and libraries. I thought we already could outdoor recreation.
That's sort of what we were talking about earlier, but you have to wear, they say here, it's on this screen, you have to wear face covering when you go out there on the trails.
You must adhere to so are they making runners wear face masks while they're running?
No.
Not out on the streets, I don't think, but maybe if you're in a trail, you could probably get stopped. Maybe.
Find out if that's true, because I've been reading all these things that say that there's, we joked around about it before, like if someone passes you when they're running, like how close are they to you? But it doesn't seem like there's any sort of science to say that it spreads that way. Like
I know that's what I've read that and didn't think that was true too. But I texted Brendan Schaub. He said he got a ticket for being on that trail. I don't know what the ticket was for, but
Jesus Christ.
yeah, I was like, "Did you really get a ticket?" He said, "Yeah."
Did he get a ticket for just being there, or did he get a ticket for not wearing a mask?
I'm not sure.
So, museums, cultural centers, and galleries. Thank God they can open up LACMA and you can stare at a plexiglass box at some fucking dipshit glued together.
Look at that. Stage 3.
Separated with velvet ropes. Stage 3, high-risk businesses, body art, massage, bars, nightclubs, movie theaters, and bowling alleys. So we have to wait. We have to wait for the next stage.
Yeah, it doesn't say when that will be.
Are we
And then stage 4, higher risk businesses, entertainment venues. Oh, wait a minute.
Which,
that
yeah,
might
I
be
don't know.
us.
I don't
But
know
wait a
where that
minute.
goes.
Yeah, like what is an entertainment venue? Is that like a large arena?
There might be more like 1,000 people more, like a concert venue.
Don't say
type thing.
1,000, Jamie. You give him a bad idea.
Well,
Say
2,000?
3,000. 3,000.
5,000?
We want theaters.
Yes.
We can go do comedy in theaters. If they shut down all the arenas and I just have to do 10 shows instead of 1, we could do that.
This is just Los Angeles.
I know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
these fucks, it doesn't matter. They'll this is what
Also, Ohio's just passed a law. They said to change what the Department of Health is doing, so that they're like superseding the rules, like in their Congress, to like only have 14. I don't know. So let's
Listen, I think ultimately, I mean, we're hating this what California's doing. Like ultimately, there's way less people that got it here than got it anywhere else. So it's probably a good idea. But as a comedian, it fucking sucks. As a person who is not in the highest of risks, it sucks. I know quite a few people that have had it, and we're going to actually have Michael Yo come on next week. I'm really interested to talk to him because he had it real bad, and he got it from New York. And then there's been some speculation that the people who got it from New York, they get it from Europe, but the people that got it in California, a lot of them got it from China, which is really interesting because, like, I wonder if as it went through Europe, it got worse. Like that's possible, right? And wasn't that something that they speculated, that there's some sort of different strains?
Yeah, but couldn't New York people just come to L.A. easier
For
than
sure.
people from China?
Yeah, they could, but I think when they track the origin, I think that's the
yeah, 'cause
reason.
they can test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's, imagine, a moron like me trying to even say this, but I think there's some sort of a genetic tracing mechanism
They're
to what they're doing.
Going back to November flu samples to see if they could track it to back then. Right now.
Jesus. So they found December though, right?
I
Is
think
that
so.
confirmed or is that just
What
speculated?
I read or saw last night, this morning, said that early December.
Yeah.
Is that the one in Sweden? Because I read something that Sweden has it back to November or December now.
Has what back?
They've traced COVID back to being in Sweden as far as November.
Oh, I thought you were saying in terms of their opening back up. They're kind of opened up
Yeah,
in Sweden.
yeah.
But here's the thing. You also got to realize that Sweden is not the United States. Like it's a weird place. It's really stretched out, and there's not a lot of people there. It's nothing like New York. Like the thing about New York is like that's like a house made out of hay, and someone drops a cigar, and that motherfucker just catches on fire and goes, wah! Yeah. There's so many people. The viral load you must take in every day if you live in Manhattan, on the subway, fucking right next to people, breathing in everybody's air. Everybody's coughing, and it's getting in. There's only so much air in that room.
Even if you forget about the subway and just talk about the entrance door to either their home or their workplace has hundreds of people minimum going through it every single day.
Yeah.
And those hundreds of people that go through that door every single day, they're on the subway or they're walking by people on the street. It's just too much, way too much.
So many people.
Yeah.
They're all breathing each other's funk.
Yep.
Sweden says coronavirus was likely in the country as early as November 2019.
That's what I read.
Wow, that's crazy.
Because they found it in France in December. He's like, it's most likely that it was
That's
probably here, too.
crazy. So they found it in France from that time too?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I appreciate their approach that they're going through. And let it be known, Sweden's a smart frickin' place, man. When I was there with you, Stockholm.
Wow. So he had one had a patient in France who was infected with COVID-19 back in December, a month before the contagion was thought to have reached Europe. Doctors retroactively tested the samples from when the man was admitted to the hospital near Paris on December 27th with a cough, a headache, and a fever. Wow. This it really does feel like more than one disease. And apparently there's a strain in India, and there's some concern that even when they come up with a vaccine, this strain in India is going to be immune to it. It's not going to work on this strain because this strain's so different than what's going on right now.
Did you see COVID toes yet? COVID toes is a new
Oh, like you get funky toenails?
serious symptom. No, it's the actual toe. Like
What
it's like
happens?
it turns bright red because of blood clotting, and it is a serious symptom of the coronavirus. In fact, I saw one person get diagnosed just from that. They had no other symptoms, so they diagnosed the person because of COVID toes. Read a whole long thing about it.
Wow. It's a fucking weird disease, man. Some people seem to get it and just walk it off, and other people get it and it's a death sentence. It doesn't seem like anything else. Maybe it's just like we just haven't been paying attention to. You know, when I found out that there was 61,000 people that died from the flu a year ago,
Yeah.
it's like 61,000?
Right.
That's so many fucking people.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, you would have never believed that. And I know there's been more deaths from COVID. But the other thing we were trying to figure out, somebody had tweeted that there was, because of the fact that there's so many COVID deaths, that there's actually a decrease in the amount of people that have died from heart disease. And they're thinking, how many people are not being counted? How many people that died of heart disease? Like, how accurate is the count? Because I think what they're doing is, if you have COVID, you died from COVID. They don't investigate to see if there were some other things that might have killed you and COVID just also was there. Like, maybe this is the cause. Oh, he clearly had a heart attack. Oh, this was the cause. He clearly had this. But now they're saying that COVID might even cause heart attacks in people. You know, and that might cause strokes and weird blood clots in people. So it's like it's different in different people. It's like it's so strange. And it almost feels like we're living like people lived in the past, where you get your information piecemeal. Like, what's happening? Because it's new and they don't really know. It's not like there's an established science about measles, right? They know what the fuck it is. They know how to prevent. They know how to make a vaccine. They know. There's not with this. With this, it's like, what's going? Like, we haven't put all the pieces together yet. So we're experiencing it in real time, along with the world's foremost medical experts.
Did you see the scientist from Pittsburgh that supposedly was close to a breakthrough that got murdered in a murder-suicide?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I did see that.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I'm in the middle of this Jack Carter novel that's all about crazy espionage and murder for hire and shit. And, of course, instantly when I see something like this, I go, oh, my God, what if they whacked him and they whacked this guy to cover up their tracks? They didn't want him to find a cure because they're working on their own cure.
Yeah. Like
Very significant findings, according to the university.
That guy does not look like the guy that would get murdered for anything.
Gunshot wounds to the head. You don't read Jack Carr books. If you read, I can't even talk. If you read Jack Carr books, you would totally think he looks like a guy that gets shot because everybody gets shot. That guy's books are so violent, man. Everybody's getting shot. So it says they found him in his townhouse, and then the other person, the suspect, they found shot themselves in a car, right? Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Returning to his car and taking his own life. Wow. See, that's the story. Is that what happened? So it could have been like a bad business deal or maybe a love triangle. Or
something.
Dun, dun, dun. Imagine if you were on your way to developing a vaccine for something, and that vaccine was going to net your company an estimated $1.9 billion. And then this fucking smarty pants dipshit, let's not even say that guy, some guy in Vancouver, figures out a way to kill this stuff. And he wants to publish it. And you got to get to him. Got to get to him before he publishes it. Because if he does, if this super smart guy has figured something out about the structure of this virus, and he knows how to fix it, he knows how to fix this problem the world is facing, it's an easy fix. And that guy winds up dead. Wow. That's possible. That's in books. I've read it in books. I guarantee. Actually, I've listened to it in audiobooks. But the same thing.
I've become obsessed with this criminal psychology thing on YouTube called Jim Can't Swim. And he breaks down interrogation videos.
Oh, I've heard of this guy.
So addictive. I actually got on Patreon, and he's the first person I've ever been a Patreon person of. And I went and I blasted through this stuff. It is so cool. And it's all criminal psychology, and he talks about how these interrogators, and he has great video somehow of these interrogations and how these people break through, and he'll stop it and show you, like, here's what he's doing and here's why, and how they get people, and why people lie and how they lie and this and that. It's so damn interesting because you watch people, they cannot cover their tracks. And then once you watch enough of them, once you're like halfway through, you already know, like, you're like, oh, they're guilty. Oh, they just gave it away. Before he even stops it, you know how it's crazy that that whole criminal world, like, they can't lie. You would think that, you would think like, oh, I could fool one of those guys. Like, I could fool a detective if he was interrogating me. And it's like, no, you cannot.
You know what that's probably like? Like, I'm going to heckle this guy. I'm going to fuck up his act.
Yep, exactly.
And then the comedian tortures you.
I saw one where this lady killed her husband's wife, or killed her ex-boyfriend's wife, right? Back in college at UCLA.
Wow.
Yep. Killed her, got away with it, became an LAPD detective, right? Get this. 25 years later, then they realized that this detective on their force could potentially be the murderer. And
how did they figure out that she could be the murderer?
Well, they ended up interviewing some people from back then. They had this cold case. What's really ironic is that they did so good, all these detectives, that they ran out of basically stuff to do. So they got to start going way back on cold cases and looking more into them. And so they looked at some interviews and this and that, and they're like, this lady works on the force. And then they ended up finding out more and more and more that she could have been attached. So they kept it a secret. and they kept it completely secret from her, and they just brought her down to a break room saying that they had some questions about something. Little did she know that the interrogation had begun.
Oh my God.
And she was the worst liar ever. She literally had 25 years of guilt, like built up. It's like a steaming teapot. Wow. So she's literally like, what is this? What is this about? What is this? Are you kidding me?
You can watch this online?
Oh, yeah.
Where? What is it?
It's called Jim Can't Swim
But
on YouTube.
that particular one, I want to know that one.
It begins with an L. It's
The Lazarus Files.
Yep, Stephanie Lazarus.
Oh, Jamie, please send me that link.
Stephanie Lazarus.
See, that's one of those things where I wish we could play something on the show and listen to that.
It's so,
I'm going to check that out.
So good.
God damn.
And they stop and they show you like little things, like right from the beginning, you know. They say the guy's name wrong, like, do you know John Hoover or whatever it was? And the guy's name was John Hover, and she goes, John Hoover? John Hoover? And she takes way too long, and then she goes, you mean maybe John Hover? And then they stop it, and he's like, you know, she thought of John Hover immediately. She's pretending like she's searching through her brain, like they show you what they're showing you.
Right. She's pretending like this is no big deal.
And they have to put it out
She's
there.
She's not nervous that she murdered this fucking guy.
Everything that the person does is showing you what they're hiding. Yeah.
Dude, this guy went to clean out his mom's apartment. She died. And he found a freezer, one of those chest freezers, with a dead, decomposing body in it. So the body had been there. The freezer was in. I think it was in the basement. See if you can find this. I believe this was in New Jersey. I think it was in New Jersey. So it was in Manhattan. I'm pretty sure it was in Manhattan. It was one of those giant ass meat freezers, and someone threw the body in there and duct taped it all shut so the stink couldn't get out. And she wouldn't let anybody visit her building. Man goes to clear out dead mom's house, finds body in freezer. Police say a man found a decomposed body in his dead mother's freezer as she was cleared out of her New York City apartment. Wow. He found the body this week in a chest freezer that had been sealed with duct tape. Investigators said the body appeared to have been stored for over 10 years. Building Superintendent Asmir Basim told the newspaper on Friday's article the body was so decayed that authorities couldn't determine its sex. Basim said that she wouldn't let them. There it is. The deceased tenant never gave permission for work to be done in the Hamilton Heights apartment. That was what I thought was funny. She was like, "No, I'm good." They're like, "Your plumbing's bad." "No, plumbing's perfect." "Is there a smell coming out of your place?" "Not anymore." "No, not anymore. No smell. Thanks." Click, bolt, shut, clip, 2 locks. I just wouldn't let anybody in.
Yes.
She had a fucking chest freezer with a dead body.
What's worse, cleaning your dead mom's place and finding a dead body, or having her dildo hit you in the face off a shelf?
The body. I don't care if my mom uses a dildo. That's her choice.
If her dildo
She's a free woman.
fell off the top shelf and hit you in the head.
Get over it, pussy.
Doink.
Yeah, better than a body. Your mother's a murderer. Killed somebody 10 fucking years ago and threw him in an ice chest and duct taped it shut. What the fuck?
All right. Didn't realize you supported your mother's use of dildos.
I do. I support your mother's use of dildos too. I love your mother. I hope she's happy.
She is.
Your mother kills.
Yeah, she's the best.
If you write for your mother would be a world-class traveling stand-up. When she did that Kill Tony, and she went up and did stand-up with notes and had never done it before. Murdered. She murdered. Yeah. Murdered. Your mother, legitimately had great timing, great delivery. She leaned into the punchlines. Yeah. She was killing, man. Yeah. She was killing. It was funny.
That was fun. She listened to my few notes, and she just did it. She had fun. I told her to smile. Enjoy it. Don't forget to smile. And leave spaces in between the jokes. Those were the two things.
Great, man. It was so cool to see, too.
Yeah.
It's like when someone does something like that they've never done before, and their son is a professional stand-up, and it was on your son's podcast in a live audience, which is like the biggest fear people have is fucking up in front of a large crowd.
Yeah.
Whitney Cummings told me that comes from when, in the past, when people were in front of large crowds, usually it's because you're being judged, like you did something wrong and the group is turning on you. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah. That's where that fear comes from.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Total makes sense.
Yeah.
Like that when we were evolving, as we're going through the civilizations of the past, if there was a group of people that was staring at you and you're around all these people and you're down and they're all up, like, that's fucking terrifying.
For sure. Or perhaps even about to be executed, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. When there's one person and everyone's focusing on them, most of the time that's scary because most of the time it's bad. Occasionally someone's performing, but most of the time it's really bad.
Yeah.
It's like a group of people that are trying to kill you. The only time it's really good is when everything's going great. There's plenty of food and booze. Then the person like, we're going to listen to you because you're exceptional, because you have a wonderful voice, or you're really good with a musical instrument.
Yeah, that is weird.
It's fucking real weird. The fear that people get in, going out there and performing and having people boo at them and hate them. They're so scared of it.
It's interesting.
That's where booze comes in, right? If people how many people have given speeches at their companies, they get together and have a company Christmas party and there's someone unfortunately leaves a microphone and a bunch of people are boozing. And someone goes up there and just ruins their fucking life. How many times does that happen? How many times does that happen? Where someone thought they could say something that Chris Rock would say. And they try out a bit. They try out a bit at their company party. From then on, you get brought into human resources on Monday.
Yeah.
Tony, I want you to tell me about Saturday night. Tell me from your perspective. Why'd you say what you said? Why'd you do what you did?
It's so funny.
Not only that, they're supplying you with booze, which is hilarious. Like if they had just Coke and joints rolled up, laying around, people would never blame you. They wouldn't blame you. If you gave them Coke and got them high as fuck, bong hits, and they were saying wacky shit, curled up in the corner, you wouldn't blame them. But you got an open bar at your fucking Christmas party, and Mikey gets a little sauced up and says something stupid, and you're mad at him.
It's so funny to think about how real companies have Christmas parties with alcohol and all that, and then have you ever been to a Comedy Store Christmas party?
I don't like Christmas parties.
Right, that's why I'm asking. I know everybody else is there, but I don't think I've ever seen you at one.
No, I don't.
And it's probably a good thing because it's complete chaos. It's beyond because obviously the Comedy Store has less than no HR, so it's way, 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 way over the top. It's absolutely ridiculous. Continuous alcohol consumption, shots and shots and shots and shots and shots and shots and shots.
When is it coming back? When do you think we'll move into that lovely phase 3?
I don't know, man. I think maybe my guess right now would be 8 to 12 weeks something starts.
8 to 12 weeks.
Perhaps the main room's spaced out with the OR.
I wonder if they can hang in there that long. That's a long time to hang in there.
I think so.
You think so?
I do. I think that they've done really well as of late. Really well. There's something about alcohol sales which takes a business to a whole nother level. And they've been slinging some drinks.
They certainly have, but it's hard for everybody.
And it's paid for, right? They own the building. It's
That's
Mitzi's
true.
building, and if they were paying rent, it would be rough.
But my God, are those shows back? When we come back, my God, are those going to be fun. Those going to be fun. Because you never thought it could be taken away from you.
Yeah.
Taken away from everybody.
Honestly, I was mad at you the first day because you were I had a show with you that night. We performed the night before, and the next morning I wake up and I see your tweet saying, unfortunately, I'm going to cancel my shows tonight at the Comedy Store, right?
Yeah.
And I'm literally like, come on, Joe, you're falling for this fake disease. I was more like, this is bullshit. And
Well, it was actually an order.
Oh no, I know. In retrospect, obviously, I was wrong.
Yeah, they wanted 200 people or less. They had gotten to this 200 people or less place, which I thought was really weird. It's okay if 200 people get sick? What is that? 400 is bad, 200 is good. It's the same environment. It's just a larger number. So they had an arbitrary 200 number. So And then I canceled the other shows too. I was like, I'm just going to cancel. I'm like, I think we should cancel because there was some improv shows that we still had booked. I'm like, we better cancel. This just seems too. It seemed like a storm was coming.
It was changing like by the hour. I was in constant negotiations with the Comedy Store. When that started on that Thursday or Friday, I was still fighting for my Monday. Like, I'm like, that's great. Then we can they're allowing 200, then we can do 200. 2 hours later, they're like, it's got to be 100. And I'm 100. Like, okay, 100. And then they're like, well, the Comedy Store is closing indefinitely. And I'm like, great. Well, how about you just let us shoot in the main room with no audience and some staff? And they're like, well, no, or they're like, at first they're like, yes. And then they're like, no. And then I had to renegotiate because they're like, no, we're closing the main room to quarantine it. And I'm like, great. We'll stream out of the original room with no staff and no comedians. And they're like, that's good for like 4 hours. And then I got a call. Look, we're closing the entire building. We can't. And they're like, if you want to do the basement, you can stream out of the basement. I'm like, definitely can't do the basement. It's too small.
You should have stuffed it in the basement.
Well,
for the fuck of it.
We ended up
a great story.
You know what we did?
How did we get into the basement? Let me tell you how we got into the basement.
Well, we're basically in the basement now over at Better Box Studios. But we ended up doing one in the empty ice house. How cool is that? That ended up being really cool. We did like a Q&A session in the empty ice house. Very interesting. It was pouring down rain Monday night. That's the part that made it like extra creepy.
I hope the ice house is okay too. Improv, all these clubs. We got to do something to really get them juiced up once everything gets rolling again.
For sure, we're gonna have a lot of creative juices.
I wonder what the stipulation is going to be as far as what has to take place. Like, what would would it be an effective treatment? What would have to be where they would let us do comedy again? I wonder what it would be because they have some effective treatments that they're investigating. I wonder if that would be enough to let them. If they knew there was a good supply of it, they get it to the hospitals. I don't know. They don't even know if you can catch it twice.
Right.
They're thinking you might be able to catch it again. It might wear off, and then you can catch it again, which is like, what?
I sort of am not buying into that. I think that's another one that the news wants us to think that you can catch it again. Oh, you might be able to catch it again, but it's like a lot of the most recent things that I've read from like health organizations are saying good news, finally some good news, and you have to like look deep to find good news now. You have to dig like with a shovel to find good news. And literally like and of course a serious doctor will tell you, well, we really don't know, because that's what professional scientists say.
Right.
Until they officially know. But right now, most professionals are saying you can't get it twice.
I think in China they've found a small percentage of people that got it twice.
I don't trust anything coming out of China right now.
I
don't trust their numbers,
you.
Their scientists, their news, or their hornets.
Surely you're pro fortune cookie.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Those lucky numbers,
that?
I take it to the bank.
Imagine if China brought over the murder hornets on purpose just to fuck up our bee supply, just to fuck up our economy even further. Could you imagine if we found out these motherfuckers brought over those murder hornets? Imagine if that's the next thing. Like they're doing some old school Genghis Khan shit. They brought the plague. They're bringing over murder hornets.
Yeah.
Imagine. We found out that's the kind of war that China is involved with in the United States, trying to weaken us from within.
Wouldn't it be wild if like they're like, pay us the money you owe us, and we just kept ignoring them, and they're like, all right.
The relationship we have with China right now is more hostile than anything I can ever remember. More hostile than we've ever felt with Russia, it seems. More hostile than... It's like as hostile as Iran when we killed that Soleimani dude. It's almost like as hostile with that all the time.
And it's a special kind, right? Because we can't even acknowledge how mad we are at them yet until we have our own thing sort of figured out.
Yeah, we don't know shit yet. We don't know where it came from.
It's almost like when you're mad at someone, but you don't want to make a big deal of it at like the dinner table or something. Like you want to talk to them one-on-one afterwards, right? Like it's like we can't even acknowledge how mad we are at China for this until we have a vaccine, right? Yeah. And then we're going to be like, hey, by the way, what the fuck, dude? You gave everybody the coronavirus. You could have had it taken care of. You did that.
They said if they had acted sooner, we could have stopped 95% of its spread.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is nuts.
Yeah.
Imagine if it didn't start in the lab and everybody accuses it of starting in the lab, and the people in the lab are like, you fucks, we didn't even do this. This is just some normal shit. Just some normal shit that it could have come from this lab, but it didn't. It came from this fucking market.
Yeah.
But imagine the lab's just right there. It's right near the market. It's so close.
Yeah, what are the odds that a market that has had humans and bats in it for a very long time, all of a sudden... I'm getting lab vibes from this one.
Well, how about this? Instead of lab vibes, maybe think about it this way. Maybe, since they're doing these fucking experiments on bats, right? They're doing coronavirus experiments on bats that are coming from the exact same caves as where this disease has originated. What if someone is selling the bats after they do experiments with them?
Yep.
What if someone just says, as long as they cook it, it'll be fine. Someone didn't cook it that good.
Yeah.
And then they caught corona from it. Or maybe it's just hanging there. You know, maybe they sold that bat and it just hung there with all the other bats. And that stuff just got in the air and somebody got it next to them. Working in a tight spaced market, all the people breathing, and this funky ass experimental bat is hanging from a meat hook. And they're probably like, as long as they make bat soup, they're going to have to boil it. It'll be fine. This is $25 worth of bat.
And the one person that bought it liked bat sushi. The rest is history.
I don't think they make bat sushi. Bats are predators, right? You have to cook those fuckers. You know, like what is a bat worth? Like how much does it cost to buy a bat to eat? If you had to guess, like US dollars, how much is a bat in a wet market?
Oof. In US dollars.
In US dollars. If you over there, you got $100 in your pocket, Tony. How much do you have left after you buy a bat for dinner?
Jeez, I would say not much because so much food seems like it would be better than a bat. It seems like a ratty animal, right?
Yeah, but if you bought a bat in a restaurant, like how much do you think it cost?
Well, a restaurant's different.
Or a market, I'm sorry.
A market, I'm going to say $3.
$3 for a bat. So let's see if we can find this out.
What do you think? You think that's more or less American?
Less. I think it's $1.
Yeah,
I
probably.
think it's like
because
$1 American for a bat. They don't look like they're greedy. That's the other thing. People are like, oh my God, these fucking people, they're so greedy. They're trying to make money selling rats. Like, no, they're really, really poor. Mm-hmm. Like, they're eating rats. They're eating bats. They're eating roaches. They're eating every fucking thing they can eat that's going to give them some protein.
Yeah.
They're not just eating, like, Canadian geese. Oh, a stuffed goose. Look, they got the recipe from Vanity Fair. Yeah. No. They're eating bats, bro.
Ugh.
Flying rats.
Can you imagine? Like, if bats were good at all, let's face it, we'd be eating them.
I read a terrible story about these two scientists that had decided they wanted to do some studies on these rats that lived in this very particular cave. I believe it was in Africa. And they set up these cameras to photograph these bats that as the sundown would happen, that's when the bats would start flying out of the caves, and they were going to be there to capture it. Well, what they didn't understand, for whatever fucking reason, is that this is also where the bats defecate. So the bats, as they were flying over, covered them with bat shit. Covered them. And I believe they both died of some sort of a hemorrhagic virus. Yeah. We'll have Jamie find that out next.
That is batshit crazy.
You son of a bitch. Did you know that bat shit comes from the fact that bat shit used to be worth a lot of money? Because the bat guano, is actually really good fertilizer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I bet bat shit crazy is probably like a disease that you get when you're hanging around all that bat guano.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because that stuff is valuable. Like, people apparently really used to value it in terms of, like, using it as fertilizer, using it when they're growing plants.
I just know it from Ace Ventura.
Right.
He tastes it. Guano.
Yeah, that's right. That's a underrated movie. Go
Yeah.
back and watch that movie again, especially when you're high. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah. I've been watching so much shit. It's been so fun, that part of it, just getting to absorb art.
I've watched every Adam Sandler movie ever except Little Nicky. I didn't watch Little Nicky. It's when he plays the devil's kid.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one, but I've watched all of them.
You watched the one with the remote control?
Yes, I watched that one. Click.
Yeah.
I watched all of them.
Huh.
Is that what it's called? Is
Yeah.
it called Click?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore's classic, man.
Dude, classic.
So funny.
Classic. He's got a lot of classics, man.
That
a
one
lot of
scene, there's something about that one scene where he's talking with Chubbs, and and he like just met Chubbs and this and that, and he's shooting cans into the trash can, and he hits Chubbs's wooden hand out into the street, and Chubbs says, "It's all right, super durable, made of great wood." Semi-truck drives by and crushes it, destroys me. And then the next scene, it shows Chubbs with missing fingers on his wooden hand. Kills me. You know, I'm not really that much into comedy movies now that I'm grown up, but one that destroys me at my spinal cord, that I don't know when the last time you saw it, but it holds up great. Kingpin.
Oh, Kingpin's amazing.
Oh my god.
Just the scene when Woody Harrelson's throwing up after he had sex with the lady.
Yeah. Yeah. And Bill Murray at the end, the entire flow of action with his hair and the comb over and how they capture it. Holy shit.
It's a Farrelly Brothers movie, right?
Yeah. And I did Punch Up recently on a Farrelly Brothers project, and I actually was talking with Peter Farrelly, and I go, you know, because it like came up, somehow Kingpin came up, and I go, you know, I think Bill Murray should have been nominated for, you know, best comedic or supporting or whatever, you know, that category would have been. And he actually goes, you know, it's funny, I've always thought that in the back of my mind, and it never happened, but I completely agree with you there. It's one of the greatest comedic performances anyone that I've ever worked with has done.
It really is. Bill Murray's amazing too. I watched Groundhog Day again. I haven't seen that in forever. It's fucking great.
He's so fucking
It's a great movie. It's really fun.
Yeah.
The Farrelly Brothers also made Something About Mary. That's another. There's, you know, Steve Sciarippa from The Sopranos.
Yeah.
Did you ever work for him when he was a booking guy?
No.
He used to book the Riviera.
Wow.
When I worked the Riviera, I used to get the gig through Steve Sciarippa. Steve Sciarippa was a friend of mine before he did any acting. Drew Carey got him on the Drew Carey show, and then one time I worked for him, and he's telling me that Drew Carey had him on his TV show. I go, oh, that's fucking awesome. Next thing you know, the fucking Sopranos come out, and I'm looking at TV, and Steve Sciarippa's on. I can't remember if I found out. I think I found out beforehand, but I couldn't believe it. When I was watching, I was like, I can't believe that's Steve Sciarippa. And he's really fucking good.
Really good in that.
Really fucking good actor.
Whew. That is so weird that like you knew that guy like that. His
I knew him
role,
when he had a regular job.
him taking care of Uncle Junior on The Sopranos is masterful.
He's not that fat, by the way. That's a fat suit.
Really?
Yeah. They put a big old fat suit on him. Give him a big guy. He's a huge guy.
Wow.
I was there with Steve Sciarippa. I was working, and some guy lit his cigarette, smoked it, and then put it out on the floor of the carpet in the comedy store, in the comedy room in the Riviera. And I thought Steve Sciarippa was going to kill this guy. He's screaming at him, pointing at his face. Pick it up, you fucking slob.
That's crazy.
So first thing I got here is I was trying to find like a menu for pricing from a wet market. This is the closest I could get is a tweet showing some sort of translation from it.
Okay.
But I'll let you
Photo from the Douban. What's that word mean? Douban of a menu in Wuhan, Hunan seafood market. Don't know when it was taken, but they sell all kinds of wild animals, including live wolf pups and palm civets. Holy shit! You could eat a wolf pup. What the fuck, man? Second photo taken after outbreak discovered shows this storefront third left, covering the word for wild in its name.
So I was trying to get some sort of translation of what's on there. Koala meat, deer meat. They have live Sika deer. That's 6,000. I don't know if it's yen or yuan. YUAN. Wow. It's about $850.
You can get a live Sitka deer.
A crocodile tongue is about $45. That's about $6, $6.50 or so.
Wow. Camel meat, $25. Oh my God. Bull testicles, $12.
I
How
don't know the
weird.
accuracy of all this translation, but that's what I just found in here. So
This is what happens when you need to eat, man. You got to feed a fucking billion people.
I will say though, it also said that the wet markets are not actually that popular in big cities. Like
They're
there're
not?
not even that many people that eat there. So I don't know how prevalent it is there. If it's something maybe in rural areas, I'm not sure.
Dude, that's even worse news because that means the meat's going to sit around for a while and cook. And it's all just going to funk in the sun, and all the bacteria is going to jump from one fish to one frog to one cockroach.
Scary.
And on top of that, if you cough too much, the guys in hazmat suits will drag you away. No one will ever see you again.
Crazy.
Dude. Like, if you found out that China was taking people that were sick and dragging them away and they were never heard from again, would you believe that?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Journalists, you know that's true.
Yeah.
If you complain too much about China, they drag you. They put you in a cell somewhere. They take you away. Happens all the time. Guys get prison sentences for talking shit about the people in charge. It's a weird place, man. Like, this is the people that we have an antagonistic relationship with. Look at all these bats.
Russia's even weirder though because they don't even like hide it.
Listen,
they just keep saying people are falling out of windows in Russia. These doctors, and it's like, no, I don't think a doctor fell out of a window, especially 3 in 1 week.
Yeah, 3 doctors fell out. Whoops. Fell out
They're
a
not even
window.
trying. Like, it's like they could make it look like it's a suicide.
What do you think the doctors did?
I think they.
Look how they're cooking this lizard. How weird is that?
Snake.
Is that
I
snake?
think it's python. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, they're cooking it with a blowtorch, and then they just give it to you in a bag?
Oh, man.
Here. Have some python. You know what's weird? Pythons they really want to get rid of them. They're a huge problem, particularly in Florida, where they're, oh my God, those are
It's
heads?
like bat soup.
Oh, that's bat heads? Look at the teeth and shit. Yes.
Oh no.
Oh, Jesus. What was I just talking about?
The lizard.
I got thrown off by that.
Bat soup. Pythons.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you can't buy python skin products anymore, but yet they're trying to kill all the pythons in the Everglades. Like, it's actually a resource. Like, if you let people buy python skin in California, you would actually be contributing to getting rid of the pythons that are filling the whole Everglades as a giant problem, in that these pythons, these wacky people in Florida got and then released, they've become breeders, and they were introduced into this environment that doesn't have any defense mechanisms for them. There's nothing that knows what a python is. They didn't evolve to get away from pythons or deal with pythons. So because of that, everything's getting wiped out. Everything. Like, they're down to like no raccoons. They have no bunnies anymore. All the deer are missing. They're starting to eat alligators. They've caught a bunch of them, like huge pythons with alligators inside. They're eating alligators, bro. They're the top of the food chain when it comes to Florida, and they're not even from there. So they're eating everything. Wow. And they're huge. They're huge predatory serpents. And so people are catching them. They're catching these 20-foot long ones, just hanging out in the Everglades with a 20-foot long murderous python from another continent.
Oh my God.
But you can't even buy, like, if you wanted to buy a python jacket, you can't buy that, you piece of shit. What do you want to use, python skin? That's exotic, you asshole.
But that's getting rid of the pythons if you buy it.
Yeah. And also, they're murderous little heartless reptiles. It's okay to have sheepskin, but it's not okay to have python. That's bananas. That doesn't make any sense. Like, it's okay to eat meat. It's okay to wear leather. Cows seem super peaceful. Snakes will eat your baby.
Yeah.
Leave your baby in a field with a python. You come back, you got a fat python and no baby. They just eat things. They'll eat your baby. They don't give a fuck. They don't say, well, I got to deal with people. Me and people have a pact. I'm not going to eat them at all.
They make Cobra condoms.
I think they're thick. I don't think you want that on your dick.
It's true.
Yeah. I don't even understand their digestive system. Like, what happens there? I mean, it's all the same. It's all just a tube.
Yeah.
Like, where's the heart?
On their Florida website about removing pythons, there's 3 ways to do it. They tell you.
Okay.
using a captive bolt gun,
A
using
bolt gun.
a firearm, or decapitation.
Oh,
That's it.
Jesus.
That's
A
it.
firearm. Bunch of fucking yeehaws out there in the swamps listening to Leonard Skinner music and shooting shotguns.
That actually sounds like
pythons.
fun.
That sounds like a new reality show.
God, does that sound like fun?
Yeah, Lizard King. Snake King.
Go out there to shoot some snakes.
Yeah, they need a fucking snake master. A snake show. That's it.
For sure.
Yeah, the most humane way is immediate loss of consciousness and destruction of the brain.
Hell,
it says.
humane. What are you talking? I'm trying to kill snakes. Trying to kill them the best way I can.
You can do it anytime you want on private lands, it says, with landowner permission.
What's interesting is I think if given enough time, they're going to kill everything, and then they're going to run out of food, and they're going to die off. Or they're going to start invading their way into cities. They kill kids all the time. Like when people leave a python in a room with their baby, those horror stories, I've read a bunch of those. The python drops down and kills a baby. I've heard it even like a python comes from a neighboring apartment, drops down through the ceiling and kills a kid.
Fuck.
Bro, imagine you getting wrapped up by a python and you see the face coming over your head and you realize what's going on. And it's clamping down your head and it detaches its jaw and it's spreading around. You're like, oh my God, you can't move your arms. You think your shoulder's broken. You're getting squeezed as it's doing this. And it's got its mouth on your fucking head and it's slowly starting to take you into its body.
I get scared of animals that like aren't even threatening. Like I get scared of like squirrels and whatnot if they look at me the wrong way. If they're right next to you in a tree and some of those things pretend like, because I live right next to a really awesome park and I run through there almost every day. And some of these squirrels, they're like people squirrels. I guess they must get fed a lot or something from humans walking by. And they will pretend like they're going to, like they will just get right up in your face. Aggressive squirrel. I got scared at my chair in my hallway the other day. I thought, this is so stupid, but I was coming out of the bathroom. It was the end of the night. And my chair, I have this one extra chair that sort of like moves around the living room. Anyway, it ended up across the end of the hallway and it was just sort of hanging out. And for some reason, it sort of looked like there was like a crazy person like
You
smiling.
thought your chair was a person? You got scared?
Super scared. Like the type of scared, because I thought it was a person leaning back smiling, and immediately my brain registered that as if there's someone leaning back smiling in your living room,
Not
you're
good.
completely fucked.
You've got real issues.
Right. Like so my heart, it literally like felt like it was like, I'm like, fuck, here goes the next 7 minutes.
Did you just watch The Joker?
No.
You thought some crazy person was in your house?
No, I had not just watched The Joker, but I did watch that.
But you're scared of squirrels as well, you were saying?
Yeah, I mean they can be freaky. They can act a fool, you know?
You know what it is, I think? I think a lot of people feed squirrels.
Yeah.
There's a park in North Hollywood. I remember going there once and watching this old dude on his back, and he would just lay on his back and pick up peanuts and hold them, and the squirrels would come over and put their hands on his hand and then take the peanut and run away with it. They did it all the time, and they wouldn't even go that far. They'd go a few feet from him and just start eating their peanut, and then other squirrels would come by, and they apparently had some sort of they've been doing it so often, people know they could just, as long as you're not making much movement, you look safe and hold it out there, they'll come get it from you. But did you see the video of the fucking monkey riding a motorcycle?
Yes.
That pulls up and tries to steal a baby?
Unbelievable.
If you haven't seen this, this is the most 2020 video you will ever see. It is 2020 encapsulated. Like, this is how fucking mad the world's gone. Here's a monkey on a motorcycle that goes zipping up the street, bails off the motorcycle, and tries to steal a baby.
My favorite part of it is I watched it like 20 times in a row. And I love how the guy taking the video from his top story apartment like is laughing. It starts and you don't see the monkey, and then he sees the monkey on the motorcycle and he starts laughing, and he's laughing more as it gets closer. And he even laughs one more beat when the monkey grabs the kid, because he's like, haha, you know, like, so he's like,
here it comes. Watch. Here's the monkey on the motorcycle, bails and grabs the kid, throws the kid to the ground. It's a little baby, and starts dragging him away, tries to steal him because he wants to eat the baby.
Yeah, it's like a horror movie at that part.
Dude. And that guy runs out chasing after the monkey. monkeys will kill you and eat you. That's a fact. If you're a
Yeah.
baby in particular, monkey kills 12-day-old baby after snatching it from his breastfeeding mother and family home. Bro, where is that at? Where'd that take place?
I was trying. It just popped up when I was looking for. The
Oh
other
my God. What does it say there?
thing.
In India.
Agra, yeah.
Oh my God. The latest warning sign that primates are being forced into cities to search for food amid environmental destruction. This is November of 2018.
No, I know. I just.
No.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
saying, imagine what they're like now. I was gonna say, because did you see that thing about what's going on in Thailand, where there was nobody in the street, so there was just like hordes of monkeys running through the street that are starving, that are used to tourists feeding them.
Oh my God.
So they're just hordes of monkeys running through. Like, where the fuck is everybody? Where's all the food?
Oh Jesus.
Bro, it's crazy. Watch this.
Crazy.
Like an ad blocker.
It's so weird. It's so weird. And then on top of that, rats in New York City. Rats in New York City, there's no restaurants open anymore, right? So the restaurants are not dropping off the normal amount of garbage, and these rats are accustomed to it. Their whole ecosystem is dependent upon it. Look at this. Starving monkey gangs battle in Thailand as coronavirus keeps tourists away. Look at that. Look at that fucking picture.
Oh, fuck.
The streets
that.
are filled with monkeys. Dude, if you're a little kid and you go wandering into that, I guarantee you they will kill you and eat you. Guarantee you. If you're a 4-year-old kid and you go stumble into that, you're dead. They'll tear you apart. You know, they don't have rules. Such a strange animal. Like, they're smart and they're sneaky. Like, look at this video.
Oh.
Bro,
No
this is-
social distancing
this is-
whatsoever.
This is rats. Those are like rats.
Yeah.
They're so dangerous. Like they don't give a fuck about you, and they look mean. Some of them have mean faces because they've been used to other monkeys being mean to them and everything trying to eat them and kill them. Look at that fucking, they tearing this one apart.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh, no.
See, this is the thing about rats now. Rats are cannibalizing each other. These for sure they're going to kill babies and eat babies. These little crazy monkeys. Oh, people are feeding them. Good. You better keep feeding them. Better feed them poison. There's too many of them. See how many monkeys that was?
Yeah.
So rats in New York apparently are cannibalizing each other. They're invading other rat territories, taking over and just fighting. There's no fucking food for
That's
them.
great. So we'll know when the next disease happens, how it was made from rats eating each other in New York City.
Oh my God! Imagine if that's what it is. Imagine if that becomes the big Will Smith movie plot line. Like, this is how I Am Legend 2 begins. The rats eat the other rats, and they get some sort of mad rat disease. Because that's where mad cow disease came from. It came from cows eating cows. Cows being fed cows. Rats eat a bunch of rat brains, and they evolve. Fuck! In all honesty, I think we got a little too high before the show.
Probably.
Haven't done it in a while because we went down all the rabbit holes that you go down when you're high.
Yeah.
Do you know anybody other than Michael Yo who caught coronavirus?
No, and it makes me mad because it just doesn't feel that real to me. It seems like as many people as I know, I should know more. And I'm asking people that I know if they know anybody, and they don't know anybody.
I know a few people.
You do?
Yeah, I know 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. Yeah, Sturgill got it. That's 7. I know a bunch of people that got it. 8. I know 8. I know 8 people that got it.
Do they know
At
how they
least.
got it? Just from hanging out or traveling?
Michael Yo got it from New York. He went and flew down after he did my podcast and did Gotham. And I believe he was sick. He's going to tell us next week. I believe he was sick, and then he caught corona. I'm pretty sure. And worn out because he was flying, probably not much sleep.
That's the weird thing to me is because I traveled so much December, January, and February. Pretty much continuously, almost every single weekend. And then obviously back to LA. Nothing's that short of a flight except for Vancouver at the end of January. And like, you know, there's a lot of, I have Chinese friends. There was obviously Chinese people on the plane. I helped one lady that seemed sick. It was like my good deed that I was doing. I was like being a nice guy. She was sitting right next to me and she was sniffling and coughing. And I got on the Wi-Fi on my phone, and she basically signaled to me, like she pointed at the Wi-Fi signal at the top of my phone and was like pointing at her phone, and I'm like, all right, I'll figure it out. But it wasn't an iPhone, so I had a lot of trouble, and I was touching it more than I wanted to, and then I couldn't get on her Wi-Fi, and then she pulled out an iPad that wasn't an actual iPad. It was another, like, whatever, Motorola brand or whatever, you know, and I am touching that, and I'm like, fuck, this is not.
And she was sick?
Yeah. And it was stupid of me. And again, this is like before Corona was mainstream news. This is in January or whatever. But like, I'm like, God damn it. I just wanted to help this lady real quick. Now it's taken forever. And it wasn't even able to get her on the Wi-Fi. But I thought to myself when this all came out, I'm like, I probably had it then and just blew through it. Because I don't really ever get the flu or get sick. My body just like gets rid of everything in like a few hours normally. From all the
Just
pasta.
like pasta.
Study shows that the more pasta you eat, the better your body fights diseases. And
People are so mad.
but then I found out from the test today that I've never had it.
Yeah.
I thought I had it.
Well, everybody thinks they had it. Everybody has this thing. Oh, yeah, I remember that time. Here's the thing. All those other colds are still around, folks. This is one thing that people have to really pay attention to. Like, I almost hope they don't pay attention to it. I hope there's some sort of a cure and everybody relaxes their grip on fear. Because if they really start paying attention to all the things that are killing all the people all the time, it's a mess out there. It's a mess. And the big one's cigarettes. That's the big one. I was reading something today. Cigarettes might actually kill coronavirus. I'm like, propaganda! Reefer madness! I smell a rat. I smell a rat. Cigarettes might actually cure coronavirus.
Nicotine.
But there was a whole thing they were saying that people that smoke cigarettes and people that vape might be more vulnerable. Remember that?
I ignore those ones because I vape. So I only read the pro vaping ones. But no, there are a few studies, and I read one very early on in this that say nicotine is of assistance. They're not pro-smoking or pro-vaping, but they are saying
Nicotine itself, like
Yeah.
chew, right? Dip.
patches, chew.
That stuff gets you high as fuck.
Hell yeah, it does. That was my first buzz ever in my life, and I'll never forget it. I fell on my butt at a 90-degree angle. My legs stayed locked up, and my back was straight.
I lacked the knowledge of how to keep your dip in one place. I'm not good at packing it and keeping it in one place. It moves around in my mouth, and I wind up swallowing a lot of it.
You swallowed it when Cowboys
swallowed the
here
whole thing.
so bad. Because I was I was like, where's he spitting? And then you just realized at the same time, like,
I go,
it's
oh, I
gone.
forgot. I swallowed it.
Oh, wow.
so.
You swallowed like the actual tobacco?
Yeah, I took a
fuck.
big fucking plug of dip.
Did it feel like you were going to throw up after that?
No, fortunately.
Wow.
Yeah, it was nothing. It's no big deal. I mean, maybe I had like a little like, oh, that feels weird. But
Yeah.
it's just plant matter. My body just digested it.
Plant matter is one way of putting it. I think a lot of people would probably throw up.
I
But
was wondering if I was going to get extra high.
yeah.
Because that's the thing about, I remember the first time I ever smoked a cigar, I was like, oh, you get high from this.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are just on a different high. Like you're on a high where you could definitely drive. You definitely talk normal.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's pleasurable. Like the tobacco, like pipe smoking or cigar smoking high, it's very pleasurable.
Fuck yeah.
It is. I mean, those
Cigarettes are my favorite thing I've ever done in my life. It's been 2 years since I had one, but I can say without any hesitation, it is my favorite thing. If I ever find out I have a month or two to live, I'm fucking,
going to start smoking it.
oh, I'm going to smoke continuously. I won't even breathe normal air.
I remember when Patrick Swayze was dying of pancreatic cancer.
Hell yeah.
And he kept smoking, and people were like, "Wow!" It's almost like they're mad at him. Like, why would you do that when you're dying of cancer?
Yeah.
Well, why wouldn't you doing it when you're dying of cancer? That's the time when you should smoke.
Damn
Shouldn't
right.
have smoked up until the time you got cancer, but now that you got cancer, smoke them if you got them, Pat.
Fuck yeah, man. Coffee and a cigarette.
How many cigars Michael Jordan smoking during that last dance? And throughout the height of the 90s in his career?
Smoked a lot of cigars.
All of the time.
constantly.
I
And
know
probably
you're
all
not a big
Cuban ones,
basketball
too,
guy,
right?
but have you been watching
I
that
have
at all?
not. No, I heard it's amazing though.
Yeah, that's one where I literally thought of you during this last one, and I'm like, I know Joe isn't watching this because of basketball, but you would fucking love it because, especially this last one, their coach Phil Jackson and his brain and the way he can motivate people. I mean, it is fucking shocking. And never out of everything I've ever watched have I paused something and just thought about it for a few minutes and then hit play again and rewind again on a documentary. It's insane.
Well, he's a super winner, you know?
Yep.
Those are always really interesting. Like anyone who's that driven to be such a winner, like you stand out amongst winners as being so exceptional that everybody, like, who's the GOAT? Michael Jordan is always the first pick,
Yep.
right? There's wonder, like, how would LeBron, how would this, that? But everybody always says Michael Jordan. Like, to be that much of a super winner, you think about all the people that are playing basketball, all the people that are around him that are world-class athletes, professional athletes, and he stands out amongst them.
Well, he's so wildly competitive that he will beat you in your own game. He will ask you what you're playing.
Yeah.
If you were playing with something, you'd go, what is that? And he will immediately start, and his only goal is to beat you at what you love and what you think you're good at. Whatever it is. So it just happens to be the basketball is the one that he chose, but also then he got that way with shoes. With like, he's like, all right, well, if I'm going to sign a fucking shoe deal, then I'm going to do this the right way.
Doesn't he do that with golf too? Isn't he like really into gambling with golf?
Everything.
Yeah.
They throw coins against a wall and he's gambling with the security guards and he can't wait to take their money. He cannot wait. He's talking shit to these guys that are protecting him. That
is so crazy. That's so crazy.
In a game where you try to get the closest to the wall with a quarter.
He used to have a celebrity pool tournament in Chicago.
Wow.
Yeah, he had a pool tournament that he did all the time, like a charity pool tournament. And I heard if you beat him at pool, he hates you.
Yep, that sounds about right. Everything that I'm gathering from this documentary is that.
If you're I mean, not just a regular winner, but just a super winner. He's so off the charts as far as like to be that kind of an achiever. You have to have a madness about you that's probably intolerable for most people.
Yeah.
Just the desire to win, conquer. In other days, man, those were gladiators. In other days, those were generals. You know, there's a lot of people that get into pro sports that it's really, in a lot of ways, it moves them away from war in the best way that we know how possible. But if we didn't have those, if there was no sports and people just conquered each other, those would be the kings of the world. The football players, that Thor guy who just deadlifted the world record, the Game of Thrones guy.
Yeah.
Did you see that shit?
Oh, yeah.
Deadlifted 1,100 and something pounds, barefoot, looking barely like the same thing as you and I.
Right.
Like, what is that? That's a person? That's a person too? Okay. What?
Crazy.
So Bobby Lee's a person, and that Thor guy's a person too. They're the same thing?
Yeah.
The same thing. Wow.
Yeah.
How the fuck?
It's unbelievable.
Did you watch the video of him lifting it?
So you got
Oh, the video of
two.
Tyson too? Yeah, that's crazy. Tyson apparently has decided that he wants to box in some charity boxing matches, so he put up some video of him hitting the pads. Oh my God! Please tell me Evander Holyfield didn't say that
Same thing.
he wants to fight.
Yeah. He's training
Oh my
also.
God! Look at this.
Oh
Says,
my
"Are you
God.
ready? The moment you've all been waiting for. The champ is back. I'd like to announce I'll be making a comeback to the ring. I'm training to promote a charity that's very close to me. Our Unite for Our Fight campaign aims to fill the void the pandemic has created on access to resources our youth needs for emotional development and education." Can you imagine if Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield have a third fight when they're in their 50s?
Wow.
Even if it's for charity.
Even if
Yeah.
it's for charity. It might be.
That's what it's sounding like.
Holy shit, you're right. That is exactly what it's sounding like. Look at the size of his traps. How ridiculous are those? They go right to his shoulders. Go to that. Hold on. Go to that picture again. His traps are ridiculous. Just look at that. Look at his traps.
Wow.
They just go straight to his shoulder. Evander Holyfield was the first guy in modern boxing who employed like a really rigorous weightlifting regime that allowed him to successfully go up. Well, Michael Spinks did it too when he beat Larry Holmes, but then he got destroyed by Tyson. I mean, he was really a light heavyweight that used his movement to outbox Larry Holmes when Larry Holmes was like sort of getting close to the twilight of his career. But that wasn't the case with Evander. Like Evander became a heavyweight. He was the cruiserweight champ, and he was like a slim guy when he fought Dwight Muhammad Qawi. And then when he went to be a heavyweight, he thickened up, man. He bulked up, like purposely bulked up. Had some amazing strength and conditioning videos that they showed of all the different shit that he was doing, preparing. Like the way the guy worked out was insane.
It came up in the Jordan documentary too. He was like maybe 200 pounds for the first couple years of his career, and then bulked up to 215, solid muscle.
Yeah, I heard it was after playing the Pistons. They were real physical.
His trainer, he said, would go back after every game and count the number of steps he took with each foot in the direction he was taking, so he would know how tired he should be and what he should be doing for him the next day and whatnot.
Oh my god! So he had left foot, right foot. Left foot is back, right foot's forward.
He would play, which is they don't do today. He played in all 82 games. He was rarely ever hurt because he knew that people were coming, which was true, to see him play. And if he didn't give them that performance, he felt like he was cheating everyone.
And every time he would play anyone for the first time, he needed to show like he could never, ever let anyone ever make them feel like they got one over on him. So not only each game for the audience that are seeing him for the first time in which he needs to dominate, but especially towards his opponent who literally thinks that maybe today will be my lucky day. I'm going up against Jordan. This is, it's the middle of the season. He puts up 60 points or whatever in your face, like embarrasses you. You fall on the ground. He crosses you over. He does everything that, you get embarrassed. He would try to make a fool out of these people.
I remember the first time I saw a photo of him, it looked like he had leapt from center court, flying through the air to dunk. And I'm like, how does a human even do that?
Yeah.
How does a 200-plus pound human fly through the air like that?
And even towards the end of his career, they just showed one where it's the All-Star game. So he got to go up against Kobe Bryant for the first time because they're in two different conferences that don't normally play. And Kobe's this 18-year-old that just, went straight from high school to the NBA, completely dominating his side of things, going up against Jordan for the first time ever. And everybody on Kobe's side is saying, Kobe asked us to let him have Jordan, and Jordan's on his side. They have actual footage. That's what's crazy about this documentary is that somehow this fucking camera crew, Jordan let them come along in the ride in this green room for all this crazy exclusive content. And he's saying to the guys, he goes, you guys all know, this is in the, not the green room, but the locker room before, you guys all know this kid's coming after me, right? Like he's going to want me. So let me have him, blah, 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 because he wants to show the kid. And sure enough, even though Kobe's 18 and peak physical condition, Jordan wins the MVP of that All-Star game, crushing it against a young Kobe Bryant.
Well, how crazy was he? He decided in the middle of all that, I'm just going to play baseball.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be the best at baseball.
That comes up. They go deep into, which is interesting, how the media in not a social media time period was fucking hammering him because they built him up to be this young guy out of North Carolina, Olympic superstar, literally scored more points than anybody's ever scored as a rookie in the NBA. All this attention, and now he's the man. And they started beating him down with some of the gambling stuff he was doing. It got leaked out, and then just added attention. And he's like, fuck this. I'm gonna quit. I'm out. See ya. Quit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because of all the negative attention.
That's what they said.
Interesting. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens when you become that guy. There's so much interest. Like to be that guy, first of all, you have to have a fire burning inside you, like most people will never be able to comprehend. And a guy like that's going to be into other kinds of wild shit too, like gambling. He's going to want to have thrills.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to drive fast cars. He's a wild man at the peak of like one of the I mean, if you think about professional basketball, you watch an NBA game and all the thought that's involved in which way you're going and the ability to explode and then the ability to, in the middle of all that, land a precision shot into a hole. There's really not another sport like that. I mean, baseball is you're trying to hit something that's coming at you like crazy. You're swinging as fast as you can. And there's a lot of skill to that as well, obviously, and there's a lot of skill to pitching. But there's something unique about basketball, and that in all this chaos, you got to find stillness. In all this chaos, you got to find the ability to stop and throw a perfect shot off. So it's not just incredible physical ability. It's incredible physical ability and then touch.
Yep.
It's real weird.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting sport in that way. It requires you to have your shit together.
Yeah.
Like to execute that shot, you have to have your shit together, and you have to have mad practice. Like one of the things that I used to love about growing up in Boston was Larry Bird stories. Like Larry Bird was apparently just an insanely disciplined professional basketball player. He would get there and practice before everybody, stay after everybody, practice things left and right. And when they would have those three-point competitions, remember we would have those all-star three-point competitions, in the locker room he would just be, which one of you guys is coming in second? That's what he would do, just walk in. They all knew. But it was just because he, first of all, he could execute under pressure, and two, he was just better. He could do things better than most people. And even he said sometimes he thought it was God pretended to be Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how good Michael Jordan was.
Every single legend is completely, they have such good interviews with everybody. Imagine, they have such great stories. It's crazy how, I've always said a documentary has the potential to destroy, to be better than any other type of story, whether it be a movie or a book, because if it's unbelievable, it's like the Tiger King. If it's fucking amazing and it's real, you can't beat it.
You can't beat it.
And that's what The Last Dance is doing. It's crazy. I don't know if you have a VPN or not, but you can reset on Netflix. It's around the world, so you can watch it.
Yeah.
If you set your location, you can watch it without commercials.
ExpressVPN is one of my sponsors. They show you it. So
yep, ours too.
So where are you getting it from?
I go to my ExpressVPN and I set my location for somewhere else.
Where do you set it for?
Usually, I don't know, Germany or Switzerland or whatever.
You can just openly say that on the internet.
Yeah.
You're faking it.
Yeah. And then I go on Netflix and no commercials. Just binge it. It's so
Why don't they have it on
good.
Netflix here?
It's ESPN, Netflix
Oh.
co-presentation type thing. Yeah.
It's literally such a great documentary that they had to work their own first ever super deal. ESPN and Netflix.
Does ESPN Plus have it on their app?
Yeah, and
Okay, I
it's
have
supposed
that.
to not even done yet. I heard they're still editing the final episode or whatever. Like they had to rush it out.
Yeah, I don't.
It's interesting because, do you want to be that guy? First of all, you probably can't. But second of all, even if you could, do you want to be that guy? Do you want to be so driven and obsessed, maniacal in it? I don't know. It's a good question.
I think he's pretty happy.
Oh, he's pretty fucking amazing. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying, the first of all, you wouldn't be that guy. It's a special fire that burns in that guy.
Yeah.
That most people just do not have. You don't have it.
Right.
But would you trade it? Would you want to be the obsessed winner? Is it too much pressure? Is it too weird to want to be that person who just wins, just dunking on people? His logo is him flying through the air, ready to dunk on people.
There's a lot of times he was doing things specifically to shit on the general manager that was in control of the team.
Oh my
They'd
God.
bring in a new player and be like, oh, watch what we're about to do to this fucking guy.
Yes.
You think that and he was they would shit on him, all bully him. They said, he's this little guy, Jerry Krause.
And they really fucking bully him, and that's coming from me. And I look at the way that he insults this GM is ruthless.
Boss.
It is
It's a
insane.
ruthless man.
It is not. It's not even funny.
But if you want to make money off that guy, that's what you want. You want a guy who is not rational about it. He's just insane. But then again, okay, then you get a guy like Wayne Gretzky, who's arguably one of the best hockey players of all time, yet almost universally treated as a really nice guy.
Yeah, well, he's Canadian.
Oh, that's what it is.
We don't
They're
count those
nicer.
kind in the nice department.
Did you see that Canada banned assault weapons? They banned all assault weapons. There's like a 2-year grace period. You got like 2 years, then you got to turn in your AR-15s. That is not making the gun people here happy. Very, very upset. And people are pointing something out, too. This was like a video of a Canadian sheriff discussing it. And he said, out of all the shootings that I've ever been a part of where there's illegal activity like that and horrible crimes that are being committed, he goes, it's never with a licensed gun owner. These aren't licensed gun owners. These people that got these guns. They're going to get these guns illegally anyway. Just because they're not legal doesn't mean they're not. They're going to do an illegal thing. They don't need a legal gun to do an illegal thing. And if you think that all you're going to do is make it more difficult and more money for the gun runners, it's going to, for sure, it's going to be something where it's more risky for them, but it's also going to be more profitable. It's going to be hard to get a gun over there. But people are still going to do it. They bring coke in from South America. They're going to bring guns into Canada. It's going to happen. But only the criminals are going to have them now.
Yeah. Getting an illegal assault weapon is the nicest thing anybody getting an assault weapon's doing.
Yes, exactly. Perfectly put. That's exactly what it is. It's just, I wish there was a world where we didn't need guns. I wish, for sure. But that's not this world. It doesn't mean you don't love people. It just means, like, you got to look at things practically. You can't look at things the way you want them to be. You got to look at things the way they are. The way they are is there's more guns than there are people. And to say you can't have a gun anymore, it's like, okay, well, who gets to have a gun? And who's going to take the guns away? And what are we going to do about the Constitution? And why? Can we vote on this? Or should this be a part of the Bill of Rights, where this is how we are and this is how this country was established, and this is the things we agree on? We don't want to vote on whether or not we have free speech. We need free speech. Should we vote on whether or not we have the Second Amendment? Some people say no. Some people say what we're dealing with is a mental health problem. We're not dealing with a gun problem. The gun problem is that the mentally ill people get the guns. It's not a gun problem. And there's a lot of people that want to have guns to protect themselves from mentally ill people that are violent.
And it's also the news. Again, a lot of this goes back to news for me.
Mm-hmm.
And them glorifying these people. This is what they say. You know what I mean? They know they're going to get the coverage. They know that their name's going to get out there.
Yeah.
It's not acceptable. If we didn't do that, then they wouldn't do that. Much more to me than the guns. If we take away the guns, if we have the guns, like if we cover it differently, things will be different. Without a doubt.
It's true, but people want to know what the name of the guy who shot up the school is.
Oh, they don't get to know.
They broadcast that. People find it online.
I don't think they should. Like, why would that be necessary?
I don't know, man. I think it's just one of those things about human nature. Like if there was a video of Tom Cruise falling off the back of a plane, you would watch it. If he fell to his death, you'd watch that video. Wouldn't you?
Well, yeah. If it leaks, yeah.
I think it's kind of along the same lines. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I think that the government could help with that. If they're going to I think before restricting guns, I think they could step in and then maybe run it by some psychiatrists and scientists and whatnot and see what they think about the media part of a crime. Because again, I mean, like, these people want to be legends. They want to be.
It certainly has an effect. It certainly has an effect.
You know, I watched this Hitler documentary, and it talked about how Eva Braun. This applies to what we're talking about. It mentioned Eva Braun didn't have to go to the bunker to die with Hitler, and this person said that she did it because she knew that by doing that against Hitler's wishes, that she would inevitably die with Hitler, and therefore, because she was kept behind the scenes and on the back burner so much, become a bigger part of history. So she could have decided to live a normal life, maybe get prosecuted later or whatever, but sort of live or go to prison or whatever, or go to the bunker and die with Hitler and be part of history forever and be represented as the woman that was with Hitler.
Have you ever paid attention to all of the information that's out there about how many Nazis fled Germany and went to South America?
Yeah.
Dude, Tim Kennedy used to have a show called was it Finding Hitler or
I've
Hunting
seen it.
Hitler?
Yep, I've watched
Hunting
all those.
Hitler. They were operating under this premise. The premise was Hitler never died in Germany. He was snuck out of the country in a submarine or some shit. And they brought him to South America. Well, you know that there's no real evidence that that's true. But what there is evidence is a lot of fucking people that live in South America used to be Nazis, including like Kennedy he was on the show and he was talking about finding these people, going into their homes, and they have pictures of Nazi soldiers like lovingly framed on their wall. Like, this is Grandpa back in fucking Buchenwald or wherever those places are.
Yeah.
Auschwitz. What is it? What is the Buchenwald? Is that it? Is that how you say it? Which one?
Buchenwald? Buchenfeld? No, Buchenwald.
Everybody always remembers Auschwitz.
Yeah.
But I mean, imagine going into someone's house and you see a Nazi guard on the wall with an SS on his sleeve, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This is a Nazi officer, and this is your grandpa? And then you realize, like, oh my God, this community, I mean, they have Oktoberfest there where they're all German and they're all drinking beer and wearing lederhosen and shit.
Mm-hmm. It's wild how many times Germany almost won that. Like, a few different little tweaks of decisions, and they win that war.
Well, they were being led by a madman.
Yeah.
I mean, he was doing things that they didn't expect. One of the things that I had read about Russia was when they had invaded Russia, they knew that they were coming, but they estimated it was going to take a certain amount of time, but they didn't think that they were going to march 24 hours.
Right.
They were not going to sleep. They didn't take any rest. They just took speed. So they got there earlier than anybody expected.
Yeah. And also, while going through France, they went through the forest instead of the plains. They were waiting for them on both sides of the openings, and they just fucking took their tanks and went right through, just found a way to trudge through the forest and trees, build their own path, and they snuck up behind both of the other sides of their other armies.
God.
It was wild.
Can you imagine the horror of experiencing that during World War II, where you were getting your newspapers? That's all you're getting for information, right? Back then, World War II, I mean, how much stuff was on television? Very few things on television, right?
They had radio, though.
They had radio. So you'd get your radio reports from the front lines in Nazi Germany, and you would get that kind of stuff. And that's how your vision of the world would be. And you imagine if you're over there and you see them coming through the forest with tanks, you're like, holy shit, they're real. And here they come.
And the same thing then was that the news was bullshit. You know what I mean? They're feeding their people what they A, want to hear, and B, will come back to hear more of, and C, make them feel good about what's happening. Yeah. One of the things that I saw was a commercial, well, not really. It's like a report, but it was also a commercial basically for their military, for the German military. It's two German soldiers in a bunker talking, and they go, I can't wait to get back to my wife. Yeah, I know, I'm going to get back to my wife. They're speaking German, but it's being translated. In the end, the guy goes, yeah, you know what? To be honest with you, I think the Russians are more scared of us than ever, and they're more scared of us than we are of them, that's for sure. And that was released like the week or two before the end, when the Russians are literally in Berlin. Like, they're coming in full of thousands of tanks and all of this, you know, all of this war material. They're about to hit the center of Germany, and Germany's playing that on their radios and on their TVs or whatever. That's what's out there, is literally, I think the Russians are more afraid of us than we are of them. Meanwhile, Germany was done. They were crippled. They had, at that point, they have their Hitler Youth is their last stand in the city. Children firing weapons for the first time. Bazookas. Little kids firing fucking bazookas into the street against some Russian tank by a professional Russian tank soldier, blowing everything up.
What's really crazy is that wasn't that long ago.
Right.
It wasn't even 100 years ago.
Yeah.
There's people that survived that are alive right now. There's one guy, he survived World War II, and he survived COVID.
Wow. Yikes.
Like, they don't make people like that anymore. That's, I mean, when people think about war today, they only think about things that are happening somewhere else that are very small scale, like the war in Iraq, the war in Afghanistan. That's our perspective for most people's lives. Most people don't remember Vietnam. They definitely, probably most people don't really remember the experience of having someone fight in World War II that you loved. Some people maybe remember Korea. But our experience of war is almost, unless you're a soldier who's served overseas, our experience is almost like abstract, right? Like we know it happens, but it's just one of those things that's over there. Sort of like pandemics. Like we know it happens, but it's rare. We don't have to worry about it right now. But now we do. That's how I feel about war. Like if it breaks out, if war breaks out with China and all of a sudden there's like legitimate attacks on cities, and we're like, holy shit, like we didn't think this was real.
Right.
We didn't think that this was a real possibility. But all this time, maybe that's why when people like Obama get in office and they have a different perspective on the campaign trail than they do once they actually get in office. Maybe they're presented with how many moving pieces are on the table and how all this can go wrong at any time and how this nation is trying to do this to this nation has nukes, and they're trying to get to us, and this is how they're doing it. And then we found that they're listening to our bathrooms, and they've got devices here. We found a new spy, and like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Dude.
War is a crazy thing. I remember how bad a lot of people were excited to go to war after 9/11, and they built that storyline around it and everything.
Well, we were also excited in some ways because we just got through Operation Desert Storm, and that was a big hit. For if that was, if we were a band, that was our stairway to heaven, right? Right?
Yeah.
It's a fucking giant hit. I mean, we lost one Scud missile hit one barracks and killed a bunch of people, but that's it. Most of it was just a decimation, right? A destruction by the American troops. So I think in some ways we might have had it in our head, this is something we're going to do like we did in Desert Storm, just wipe them out real quick and that'll be over. But fuck, here we are, the longest war ever in the history of the country. And we don't get out. We're still in it. And there's arguments that we should stay in it. And some of them are good arguments. And you're like, fuck. Like, is that what the world we're dealing with is? Like, we were talking about before with when it comes to people, there's so many things there's not one real clear answer of what you do that's going to determine the best future for everybody. And you could listen to these experts you can listen to an expert that tells you we don't want to be the policemen of the world. We need to get out of everywhere now and concentrate on our own domestic issues and just use policy and diplomacy to deal with the rest of the world. And then there's other people that say they will blow us the fuck up. We have to monitor them. We have to keep an eye on them. There's a real hatred of the United. First of all, maybe some of it earned, some of the shit we did in the past. Maybe there's some shady shit that's going on that you don't know about. But the bottom line is we're going to need to keep these bases. We're going to need to keep this military presence. And we don't want to go to war, but trust us. Like, fuck.
Isn't it wild that Sweden's been able to avoid all this the whole time? A bunch of what started out as basically Vikings, right?
Right. Iceland too, right? They're not invading anybody anymore.
No, they're neutral. They stayed. They were able to avoid World War II.
They just figured out how to do strongman contests and appease those fucking gorillas.
Yeah, get it out of your system. Lift some weights.
So many of the strongmen come from Iceland. Do you know that?
Yeah.
There was a Vice documentary on it. They showed all these gigantic dudes. They were, oh, look, Vikings. Giants. Imagine that giant with a battle axe storming through your fucking neighborhood.
That's where the Nordic track came from.
Every now and then you miss. You're really good at this, but some puns are left
Nordic
unsaid.
track, right? Remember that thing? Is that still a thing?
Yeah, I think so. You do cross country. Nobody ever used those.
Right.
Out of all of the exercise equipment that nobody ever used, that was number one.
Was that the Chuck Norris one? I think it was.
No. Chuck Norris one was the total body system. Remember that one where his cables and he pulls him down, his body goes up and goes down and up.
Yeah.
What was that called? Was it called Total Body System? It was him and Christy Brinkley, right?
I think so.
Total Body Gym, I think, or something like that.
One of them things. Total Body something. Him and Christy Brinkley. Hanging on. Still sexy. At an elevated age. So that was that was like the hook. Like, I want to be like that. They still got it. Christy still got it. Chuck Norris still got it. Wasn't it Christy Brinkley? Am I imagining that?
I think you're right. I'm deep into the history of the Nordic track right now. It started off called the Nordic Jock, which is, I was trying to see where that was
It's
going.
just insulting.
That's just gross.
Yeah.
The Nordic Jock.
Total Body Gym. Yeah, Total Gym. I don't know. And then it gets, all these companies have made similar things with each other.
But the one with Chuck Norris and
I thought it would come up.
I'm pretty sure it was Chuck Norris and Christy Brinkley. Just two hotties hanging on.
Hell yeah.
She's hung on better than
Sure
anybody,
does.
right? If you have to give the crown to, yeah, there it is. Chuck Norris looking good.
Oh, Olivia Newton-John.
Oh,
did it
Olivia
for a while.
Newton-John was in it too.
Oh, there she is.
Oh, and Christy Brinkley. They got everybody. All these hotties that are hanging on to it. That's what they got. And back then, she probably was only like 40.
Yeah, it said she used it for 14 years.
Hell yeah, she did. And it works. Look at her. But like, out of all the people that are hanging in there, no one's hanging in there as good as Christy Brinkley. I think she's 65.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
How about J-Lo? 50. There's a great meme that shows J-Lo, what?
66.
66 Christy Brinkley. Wow.
Wow.
When we were kids, 66 was a dead person.
Yeah.
You're dying. You're gonna die any moment now. You're not supposed to be hot. How you pulling hot off? How do they do that? There's a picture of J-Lo.
It's her
Look at
on a
that.
boat at 65. It
That's
says.
her on a boat at 65. Jesus fucking Louises.
Wow.
That's crazy. Like, she's in the sun, right? She's not in some crazy studio somewhere.
That's me sitting next to her. You can't tell in that picture, but
Bro, her body's amazing. I guess it's one of those things. If you just refuse, if you just Michael Jordan the fuck out of your looks
yeah.
with just regular gym and eating right and just hang in there.
Damn.
Like Tom Cruise on the side of that airplane.
Yeah.
Hang in there.
Look-see-do.
Do you think you're going to hang in there like that?
Probably not. I mean, I'm made of pasta and tobacco, so probably not. Think squirrels are going to kill me. I see
Look at
smiling
that butt.
chairs.
65. So a
Damn.
65-year-old butt? How's that even possible?
Oh, my God.
That's insanity. She's got a perfect body at 60. I'm like, she's not hiding. There's nowhere to hide. That's not her in a dress. And if you saw her naked, she'd be disgusting. No, she looks amazing.
Wow, that is some beautiful aged beef.
And that's probably what inspired Adele. Get her fucking shit together.
That's
Like
it.
the 65-year-old ladies out there looking hot. Why can't I do it? Well, you can. You can.
Just stopped rolling in the deep dish.
And on that note, let's wrap this up. Tony Hinchcliffe, always a pleasure, my brother.
Thank you, sir. Great to be here. Great to be out and about.
Great to have you. Kill Tony, still streaming.
Yep.
Mondays, YouTube.
Yep.
You just doing a modified version of it?
Yeah, it's a mellow, modern version of it. I'm also starting a roast. I'm doing a roast school. I made a fake master class video.
I saw that.
Yeah, and I got hit up by the MyBookie people who wanted to make it a real thing. So I'm doing a real roast master class on. I think that's going to be on my Patreon coming soon. So.
That actually sounds like a great tool for people that like are tired of being picked on.
Yeah, I can teach. I'm going to show people. I mean, it's a goof. I'm taking myself way too seriously in it. I've already shot one, and I'm showing them how I go through the process. Like I'm going to first I'm reviewing other roasts that I've done, and I'm hitting pause and I'm showing them like how I came up with that and how to kill your babies and write new stuff right before and this and that and how to change things based on what people are wearing or their
We
appearance.
should explain kill your babies. Like when you have bits you don't like,
Right.
cut them loose.
Yeah.
People are like, what?
Yeah.
Tony Hinchcliffe
yeah.
advocates killing babies.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of terms and
That's a
everything.
great term. That's a great term though,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah. And also I'm showing people how to put on their own roast with like their family or coworkers and how to book it and how to get help writing and how to set it up and
Oh, that's amazing.
yeah.
And so when will that be available?
That actually starts next week.
Really?
Patreon.com/Hinchcliffe.
Okay. So, and is all that linked on your Instagram or your Twitter?
It's about to be. I have all the
Okay.
stuff. I just haven't released it yet.
And everything's Tony Hinchcliffe, right?
Yep.
Instagram, Twitter, all
Yep.
that stuff.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, my brother.
Hey,
Always
thank
good to see you. Always
Indeed.
fun.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. That was fun, brother.
Thank you. so much fun.